it's a for Raul Jimenez! Raul Jimenez gives Wolves the lead! Traore! Another Traore! Oh my word! Neves brings it down on the body! Oh, you must be kidding me! Ruben Neves has just struck a sensational goal! Because it all is unbelievable! Charlotinho has whipped it into the far top corner! Can you believe this?
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
A very good evening and welcome to the home of football. This is Molineux. This is Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra. And once again, it has been an eventful couple of days in the world of Wolverhampton Wanderers. We will talk about it all. We will look ahead to this game as well, and we'll look back on some pretty special meetings in the recent past as well. I'm Mikey Burrows. Alongside me, as ever, is the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, and joining us from home, Chris Iwelumo, and we will also be joined by Matt Murray as well. Colin Cameron to come before kick-off, and the Athletics' Tim Spears join us on a jam-packed build-up to the first home game of the new season. Hopefully, it is going to continue, and Wolves will pick up where they left off at Bramall Lane a week ago, ignoring, of course, what went on Thursday. But that was a different competition. Not necessarily one we want to gloss over too much. Chris Iwelumo is smiling because of some things that we said before we came on air. Right, let's get into it. We've got to go straight to it, boys, before we get to the team news and everything building up today, because a lot of Wolves supporters will be surprised at the news that came out Friday and over the weekend. Tomo, I'll come to you first. Diogo Jota, an incredible servant to this football club, but he is no longer a Wolves player.
No, he isn't, and it's a big surprise to me as well. So, look, for him to be moving. So, but look, if you just go through all the different people that we've got, Jimenez, you've got Traore, you've got Neto, so you've got Podence. If you're looking at that, all of a sudden you've got an absolute load of forwards or attacking options there, and look, he didn't get on a sub in the week before at Sheffield United. He's used a sub mainly last year as well, a little bit. But look, that's football for you, and the opportunity come. It was decent money for him, to be fair. It was decent money for him to go to Liverpool. But yeah, it's a shame he's gone, because he was a great servant for the club. So he gave his all for it in the way that he played, and the fans loved him as well. But it was a big surprise. It was a big surprise for me that they've actually thought about letting him go, but I suppose with the options he's already got, he wasn't going to end much game time would he have?
Well, I've got to basically say the exact same as Tomo, haven't I? It's a massive surprise. I think Tomo said there about the all having so many strikers, but Diogo Jota brought something different. They're all very different. I think Podence came into the team at the restart, and you can see the quality. It's like he just matured. He got his goal, and he brings so much. And I think just it's a massive statement, the likes of a player of Diogo Jota's quality not coming off the bench, for one. You know, if there's interest, I'm sure that Nuno knows everything that's going on with the players, if there's interest that comes in. And that's just one that maybe they thought, you know what, we can live without him. We can kick on to the next level without him. And it's a lot of money to turn down. But fantastic player. And I thought it was a complete touch of class. The way that he said goodbye and thank you as well. It says a lot about the person that he is as well.
Matty, does it almost kind of point to the fact that in reality, he wasn't a first choice anymore here? And that feels strange to say.
I'm not sure, because if I look at Matt Doherty was first choice last season, but Nuno wanted to change things around, maybe tweak the system a little bit. He wants to break into the top 6, top 4 if he can. So as much as the owners back and Nuno and spend the money, they've got to look at things and be creative on how they can, you know, make ends meet, if you like, and work it around. So Nuno would, I imagine, has the overall say, but If you look at Jota, I think Diogo Jota has been absolutely fantastic. There's so many players that everybody said were coming over to Wolves, going to play a few games and look to move on. He's played 3 full seasons. Been absolutely outstanding. The hat-trick against Leicester, for me, was my favourite. I thought after lockdown, he wasn't quite the same player, but that happened. But he came on against Everton, scored a great goal. Obviously, didn't really start this season. But like Looms and Tomo have said, I think they've got people in, like Neto's been brilliant. Pedence, they've got Traore can play in those roles. So maybe the money for Jota, that 40, rising up to 45 million, will allow them then to get the right wing back replacement they want. Looking at other players as well, pay for Fabio Silva for the middle. So that's what I think it is. He just wants to evolve his squad. But like the guys have said, what a servant. The fans love him. For me, these 3 seasons that he's been part of will never, ever be forgotten by Wolves fans.
Oh, I mean, it was obviously, he's played a huge part. And I put a thing on social media the other day when the kind of news was confirmed, talking about, the pace of change can sometimes be scary for some, but you have to put your faith and trust in those who've earned it and make the difficult decisions. I just wonder, though, and this is the kind of point I was trying to make there, that when you look at last season, he scored 7 goals in 34 Premier League appearances, but a couple of those were doubles. So there's only actually 5 games that he scored in. And I wonder whether Nuno will have looked at that and kind of gone, I need to, as part of a wider element of trying to change things up, to say, maybe we need to try something a little bit different.
Is that, well, Mikey, I just think, though, Diogo Jota got hat-tricks, though, in Europe. I know you're saying in the Premier League, got hat-tricks in Europe. It's not only, in my opinion, I mean, Looms is a striker, but it's not only what he brings with his goals. I think that Raul Jimenez would say, Diogo Jota, when they sometimes partnered, they were right up there, and he brought other stuff, the way he pressed, the intelligence, the intensity, how robust he was. He played the games, obviously battling on all fronts. He was key. The run that Wolves had in Europe, I thought the season before when Wolves made the semi-final of the FA Cup, again, outstanding season. So, but maybe Nuno wants to tweak the system slightly. But when Liverpool come knocking as well, we don't know what conversation went on there. As much as we all love Wolves, and Wolves is a huge, huge club, but if Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, who've just won the title, in the way they did, believe that you're good enough for them, then you have to look at things as well. So if we look what we paid for Diogo Jota, look what we sold him for, what Nuno can go and reinvest. As you said, these people at Wolves, we have to trust their recruitment. So, yeah, maybe his goal return wasn't quite there in the Premier League that Nuno might have wanted, but I still think his all-round game would show you that it was good. And the fact that Liverpool, who are one of the best teams in world football, European football, world football, have come knocking, would show that he still was very, very integral to Wolves' success.
No, it's absolutely spot on. You think about what else he brings. I'm surprised. I'm just looking down here at the stats. Just 1 assist as well. But it's the other kind of things that he brings. The link up, the way that he presses, the way that he starts that defence from the front. I think the goal return, it's surprising. What, in 5 Premier League games last season, that's where he got all his goals. That does surprise me as well, because he is so important to the way that Wolves go about, and that's why I was so surprised at the decision. But like you say, I think Nuno, he's done it time and time again. With Barry Douglas, he's done it. A player that you thought was excellent, that would definitely play a lot. Nuno's obviously thought he wants to go a different way. And Nuno, we have to trust in it. He's definitely got the support of the owners as well with the decisions that he makes. But he improves everyone, he coaches everyone, he takes players as far as they can. And as Matty's already alluded to there, when Liverpool come knocking, you can't really stand in a player who's been a great servant to the club as well. You don't know what talks have went on there, what conversations. If Liverpool comes knocking, it's very hard for your head not to be turned as well. But again, I'm sure that Nuno has complete control and respect of all the players, and he knows exactly who's in contact with who. But like you say, we have to have trust in the way that we're moving forward. We were all blown away by the start against Sheffield United, the first 20 minutes, the football that we played. We even went back to a back 4 at some period. So he has evolved, and he is thinking and tweaking a few things. I think the aim is definitely top 6, and without the kind of European distraction out the cup now as well. That cup that you don't care about, Mikey. It's just one of them. It means that the complete sole focus can be on the Premier League and go game by game. I'm sure there will be some more players coming in as well, which is the exciting thing, because whoever Nuno brings in, they have potential, and he has the key to unlock that more often than not. He's been outstanding, and as a coach with individuals, he's been top quality.
Let's bring in the Athletics' Tim Spears, and as he is joining us, Tomo, I'll come to you first. I guess kind of your favourite Jota moment, really, of the last 3 years.
Possibly the goal here against Aston Villa. The second goal, Thunderbolt. So look, it's a great finish. But look, that's what he brings. So look, I think that why the fans loved him was the way that he battled for the team, the way that he led the line. He never gave up. He kept going. So look, and he was a strong player for us. And there's lots of defenders who thought that they could knock him off the ball, but not with him. He gave us that little bit of an edge as well up front, for me. But look, it's a shame he goes. But say, as we've mentioned about Sheffield United last week, we're looking to evolve. We started changing the formation, the way that we play. We've never seen that before. We've gone for a flat back four. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, who he brings in. But you've all echoed about saying that about the way that he is. We've got to trust him. We've got to trust the way that he does things. And that's what we've got to do. So at the end of the day, he's got things so right in the time that he's been here, Nuno, that you've got to give him that trust element.
Tim, a big good evening to you. You join us just as we're obviously talking about the big news of the weekend, really, Diogo Jota, and some of your favourite moments of seeing Jota in a Wolves shirt, really.
Oh, wow. I mean, that Man United goal, right in front of me, here it was. It'll live with me to the day I die, honestly. It was just, I don't mind admitting, Mikey, I got a bit emotional that night. That was a special evening. And also down here, just in front of the South Bank, when he left James Chester and Robert Snodgrass falling over each other. Do you remember, with that Villa goal?
Yeah.
That was such a special night as well. I remember that they were top of the Championship early on, but everyone was kind of waiting for that bubble to burst because, you know, we're Wolves people and we don't expect good things to happen to us. And that Villa night was so special. And like, even the Crystal Palace goal towards the start of last season, do you remember when they were really struggling in the bottom two, down to 10 men at Palace away, 1-0, and then he comes up with a last-minute equaliser. All goals just typical of his kind of fearlessness, attitude, and he'll be missed. But I think it's a good deal for both clubs and the player, which you can't say about most transfer deals. But you know, Wolves are going to get a fantastic amount of money for him, and obviously
you did an article, didn't you? You wrote an article that said that they'd made the decision in the summer to possibly let him go.
Yeah, you read it because the subscription's down to £1 a month now, isn't it, Mikey? So you finally signed up, right?
Well, we did mention that, didn't we, before? About the animation.
I didn't read it. It's not free yet, so I ain't reading it till then.
Stay far off.
Tim, so tell us about the player coming in then.
As Semedo.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're getting him because, Barcelona need funds for a start. I wouldn't say he set La Liga alight. I think they were kind of hoping he'd be Dani Alves' kind of heir. It hasn't quite worked out that way. And speaking to a colleague of mine who covers La Liga this morning, he said, you know, he has been targeted a lot by teams playing Barcelona. But obviously he doesn't exactly get too much defensive help from in front of him. You know, when you're playing behind Messi, A, your goals and assist numbers aren't going to be that high because you just give him the ball, right? And B, you're maybe not going to get that much defensive protection. So he has been targeted a bit. However, he's said to be very, very athletic, enjoys going forward, pacey, and I think he'll fit in well into this team, into a settled team, a settled role. He'll know his teammates already. Him and Nuno, I'm sure, will know each other as well. So we've seen in the past that Wolves' Portuguese signings have settled in very quickly, and I think that will really help him. And he's going to be a good addition. It's really interesting, Looms, though, as to what they do in terms of literally how they get forward now. It kind of feels like him and Marcel might be a bit more defensive in terms of wing-backs, which is going to allow the midfielders maybe to push on a bit more. Yeah. I think we saw a hint of that at Sheffield United. I know it was only the first half because they defended very deep in the second half, so it's quite a small kind of sample. But we noticed Dendoncker and Neto really pushing forward from midfield, and might be, you know, we know Nuno's looking to change the style. Maybe that's going to be a key part of it. The wing-backs will sit deep a bit more and allow the midfielders to get forward.
Well, Matty, you look like you wanted to jump in there.
Yeah, it was just a bit. You mentioned that though. Obviously, in playing for Barcelona, you do dominate the ball a lot. And you said even there in La Liga he got exploited a bit defensively. So do you feel that could be a concern, especially how little time Nuno will get on the grass and there's such a congested season? Would that be a concern at all?
It's not ideal, is it really? I mean, we've seen in the past that he has taken a little while to integrate signings into the team. You know, we've seen it with Dendoncker, Traore, Pedence as well to an extent. So it's going to be a massive change of style for him. But if anyone can do it, it's Nuno. And like I said, the fact that he's got so many teammates he'll be familiar with, and he'll have consistency in selection week in, week out. He'll have Willy Bolly to the left of him. You know, he's going to have Neves and Martinez to the left of him. So I think that consistency in selection will help. And he seems like a decent lad as well. I think it's a good signing. It's a lot of money, but I think it's a good signing.
Well, of course, it is all speculation at the minute. We can't confirm or deny anything here on Wolves TV. Just if we kind of look at, you mentioned it briefly in there, Tim, it's this element, isn't it, about the evolution of this Wolves team. And we saw a little bit of it at Sheffield United. It's kind of the kind of thing of looking at it and kind of going, well, so no Jota anymore, and maybe slightly different wing backs. The goals are going to have to come from midfield, aren't they? Is that what we're looking to now, to kind of go, right, we need to start delving in from other areas?
Yeah, I had a look at the numbers actually the other day, because you take Jota's goals out, you take Doherty's goals out, that's 25% of Wolves' goals from last season. It's a massive chunk. And yet Nuno wants more goals this season. So he's asking, you know, in the absence of any more forward players coming in, and we're not expecting Fabio Silva to necessarily contribute a huge amount this season, you know, while he beds in. So you're asking the existing players to really step up. But I think there are signs that they can do that. Got to get more goals from Traore. 4 goals in the league last season, 7 in all comps. Matt Doherty scored more than him. There's got to be more goals in him, and it was noticeable at Sheffield United. He was sort of shooting on sight in the second half. He had 3 breaks forward from midfield, and he shot every time, even though he had teammates around him. And I wonder if that's something that he's been working on. Dendoncker's ratio of goals from shots is actually the best at the club. He scored 4 from his 20 shots last season. Neto scored 3 from his 17 shots. You know, it's not many shots, but it's a good ratio. And Neto should have been 4 because that goal should have stood at Anfield. So there's little signs there that these guys can step up. And Pedence is the wild card, really. We've not seen a huge amount of him, but from what I've seen of him, there's goals in him as well. So these guys are going to have to make up the shortfall, because judging on the career statistics of Marcel, who I think scored 3 in 250, I think Matt Murray scored more than that in his career. And then
don't get carried away now.
And Semedo, I don't think Semedo's necessarily a natural goal scorer. So yeah, he's going to be looking for more from elsewhere. Neves as well. I'd like to see Neves step up and score more. The guy practices his shooting every single day, so if they can get him in advanced areas, maybe that's another source. So they're looking at different ways. You can see where it's coming from.
Because the tactical thing is interesting, and Looms, you kind of briefly touched on it beforehand. We thought that they went to 4 at the back for a period last week. Now, I am told from sources within the group that absolutely they did not. And they did not see it as 4 at the back, and they insist that it was still 5. Say, from where I was and from where Tomo was, I think he agreed, and I think you agreed, it looked like 4. They stress it wasn't. Is that kind of a symbol, though, of maybe they're going to alternate the 5 a little bit differently, and maybe, like at that moment, they allowed Marcel to go higher than the others, and this is where they're going to get people guessing?
I think if you look... Oh, sorry, Spears.
I didn't notice that. I thought you guys had been in the pub, to be honest.
I thought the same, Tim.
I think when you're looking at that, when Sheffield United had probably so much of the ball and were quite dominant, and it was wave after wave, I think that the formation usually changes 3-4 times during a match anyway, because you have to deal with the problem. You have to solve that issue. So whatever it looked like to us, it might have been set up like that, but it might have been a 5. And like you say, Martial could have been just that little bit more advanced because his man, he wanted to be a little bit tighter. So it's just how it plays out. You know, it's one of those things. I thought we looked at it as a positive as well, didn't we? Last week that Nuno's thinking, he's trying things. I think Traore
we were giving them credit.
Yeah, Traore was in at right back as well. You know, that you could see that he got caught out a couple of times, as he did against Wolves, against Stoke the other night as well. So it's just one of them. I think what Spears said, it's quite interesting. You know, the goals have got to come from somewhere. If we've got wing backs that probably don't bomb on as much, and they sit in and allow the 2, the 3 to go in advance and get in those positions, like Neves, the quality that he's got, I think he can definitely add to his goal tally. Traore in advanced positions, his finishing has got better, but he can still add to that as well. So there is goals to be got there, and I'm sure there is going to be more recruits. Semedo, it's one of those things you don't know. With a little bit of coaching, Nuno talking to him with that freedom to go, he might pop up with a couple of goals, but goals should be coming from everywhere. Anyway, defensively, we need to be scoring more goals. And saying that, I said that last week before Saiss got his goal anyway, and he could have had another as well against Sheffield United. And it's so important. Any team that wants success, the goals need to be coming from all over the place anyway.
Okay, well, let's take a look at how Wolves do line up today. This is the selection that Nuno has made. We'll get that for you. There you go. Neto and Podence either side of Raul Jimenez. Neves coming in to the midfield in place of Dendoncker, Tomo. Neves played the game against Stoke. Dendoncker actually played both games last week. Do we think that has played a part in that selection?
Yeah, possibly. So look, and also his ability on the ball with his range of passing as well. I think Neves that he's brought him in and working alongside Moutinho as well. So look, for me, I think that Neves needs to be playing higher up the pitch. I know he does that sitting, rolling midfield, but if we're going to get more goals out of him and try and get him on that edge of that box or around that box area, he's got to play a little bit higher. And I just think that it's important that the two midfield lads do support the front line as well. So I think that we've seen it time and time again where there is gaps in the space behind that forward line, what we've got. And that's why some teams just exploit it a little bit. We've got to be able to push up and try and help those strikers. And look, there's no doubt about Neves' ability outside of the box with his shooting, but we need more of it. We need him to be getting and adding to this goal tally.
Matt Murray, looking at that lineup, who stands out for you as being key today?
I think every player for Wolves has to step up and be at it. If you're going to beat Manchester City, you need everybody to be on it. But few key players that you're going to look at. Of course, Raul Jimenez is going to need to be clinical when his opportunity comes around and take it. But for me, Patricio, and I know I'll say this being an ex-goalkeeper and that, but if you play Manchester City, you need your goalkeeper to be on it. He needs to make that big save at some time in the game. And so I feel Rui Patricio, every player, as I say, we need every player 8, 9 out of 10 minimum if you're going to get a result against Manchester City. But I feel Neves coming back in is because this is maybe a bit more of a technical game than a physical one that Sheffield United would have been. But I'd say at both ends of the pitch, Rui Patricio and Raul Jimenez, they can be our match winners.
Tim, which way do you see this going today?
I think it'd be a great game. The games between the two clubs in the past 2 years, even going back to that Carabao Cup game, to remember in the Championship, that was a great game. I think there's a lot of respect for each other. I think the managers love taking each other on. Traore is obviously going to be important. He's had the wood on Mendy the last 2 times. Mendy's been to Molineux as well. I hope Mendy's done his strength training. Do you remember when he got parsed off the ball here last year?
Yeah.
Was a foul, but we don't care.
No.
I think there'll be goals in it. It's a real shame there's not fans here, but I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be 2-2, Mikey.
2-2. All right, that'll do for me. We'll get the rest of the boys' predictions a little bit later on. Tim, thank you very much indeed. Tim Spears of The Athletic. Okay, we mentioned it. I mean, Looms, the game here last season, Tim's right. It is such a shame there is not a crowd here because that day, that night, it was around Christmas time. It is probably the best game that I've ever been here for. The noise was unbelievable. The fact that it had sending off, a couple of missed penalties, the comeback, last minute goal, it had everything. That was one of the greatest days I've ever experienced.
It is. It was a fantastic game, and it's a real shame the fans aren't there, and it's how privileged we are to be able to be in the stadium and cover these matches. It's hopefully things get resolved and we're back to a little bit more normality. But the game itself was outstanding. The fans, the kind of the 12th voice, the 12th man, as you say, played such an important part that time to get that extra little bit out of the players. But there's quality there, and it was a real tactical affair. But you had to just roll your sleeves up as well and just have that intensity with your play, play with a purpose, real intent. And that's what Wolves done on the day, and like you say, to come back, get the win, it was the perfect finish, wasn't it?
I think though that. Go on. I was going to say, I think Manchester City will really be hurting from what Wolves did to them last season doing the double. I think they'll take a lot of learning from it as well. Pep Guardiola, absolute winner, and he'll have his boys charged up, and a lot of those players are playing again. The emotions that you talk about in Mikey, I mean, I was watching it from home, but Edison getting sent off, the VAR stuff, when I spoke to Connor Cody about it, when there's a penalty save, well, the penalty was given through VAR, wasn't it? Then the penalty save, then the retake, and the putting in it was all sorts. But that's where I thought I saw real character in the players, a real belief, and to come back and win that game and Doc and it was absolutely awesome, as you say. It had everything.
Yeah.
The VAR actually added to the drama, but this Wolves team is something special. It really, really is, and they're evolving. But I just feel that the respect that Wolves are earning, and the way that people, because of the damage they've done to so many of the top four sides, is why, again, I think Nuno's trying to evolve that style. So I'm really, really interested to see how tactically Manchester City and Wolves approach this.
Well, there's always kind of the famous games down over the last 20 years of playing against Manchester City. We're going to speak to a man who was a big part of one of them. Of course, you can think back to Dave Edwards scoring against his old Shrewsbury teammate and best mate, Joe Hart. Well, I think that was 2010 or so. But of course, the first ever Wolves Premier League win was a big goal scored by a man who appears to be sat in the dark at the minute. Colin Cameron, how are you, pal? Let him go and stick his light on. What is going on there? Unbelievable. But that was, of course, 2003, Matty. Wasn't a great start to the campaign. And then Big Colin stepped up and got Wolves up and running.
It was. We'll only talk about the one at Molineux, not the one at the Etihad Stadium when there was a penalty to Wolves. But look, Colin Cameron was the man. He loved Cams to bits. He loved an important goal, past David Seaman as well. And look, it was a disappointing campaign in the way that we went down, but there were some real memorable moments. And that game at Molineux where Cam scored past David Seaman. Absolutely class. And Cam's is doing us a favour leaving the lights off. Tim Spears is doing us a favour wearing the mask, and Cam's is doing us a favour leaving the lights off.
What are you trying to say, Matt? What are you trying to say?
I mean, I'll do you a favour in a minute.
You do the mask.
Back on.
I've got my makeup bag, don't you?
Colin, what were your memories of that game against Man City?
Just before that, I forgot to pay the electricity bill, so top up the meter there now. No, obviously, as Matt says, we got off to a poor start. I think that was our 8th game before we got the victory. And it's hard when you have a start like that to try and get back into the race, So it was an uphill struggle for us for the rest of the season, to be honest. But at the same time, we needed that first victory. And I'm glad it came at home because the fans that season were magnificent towards us. They supported us through the whole thing. You knew it was going to be difficult for us, and they certainly helped. So to get that first victory at home, meant a lot. And obviously, it's a wee bit of a collector's item because I don't score many headers. But I just took the chance, and Henry Kamara, I think, put the ball in first, and it got cleared. And I thought, I'm just going to stay in the box in the hope that he puts another ball in, and he's put in with his left foot, and I've managed to just get in between the two defenders and connected it really well. And then obviously to see it hit the back of the net was extra special.
It's one of those.
It's past David Seaman. You got to remember that bit.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of goalkeepers out there, but at the time I suppose he was one of the best. So and he was English, so that was extra special.
Colin, I have to ask you. You said there about the fans. The fans were magnificent. Does it make it harder for Wolves to reach those levels with the fans not being in the stadium? You think with this Premier League campaign ahead?
I think for every footballer, it can only be so surreal. And I take my hat off to them because they've got to perform at the highest levels, and it's really difficult having no fans there. I remember at lesser degree when I was injured and coming back, and you're playing in reserve games, and
that would have been with me.
It's hard to motivate yourself. It's a personal thing then that comes into it. So it depends. Every player's different. And I think for teams like Wolves, they need that, that support that they've got out at home. It's so important. And for a lot of teams, but I think the teams in the lower half of the Premiership even more so. So it is difficult, but thankfully, this last season, and I feel this season, that's not going to be the case for Wolves, because they've started off this season the way that, they had the whole last season. And I'm looking forward to this season. I expect it to be, before I kind of thought, second season, will it be difficult to, compete with what they've done last season? But even after seeing them after the one game, I'm quietly confident that they can achieve the same, if not even a wee bit more.
Mickey, do you think against teams like Manchester City, who are so possession-based, the lack of crowd is even more of a hindrance against certain clubs?
Well, yeah, because it's so quiet, you hear everything, and sometimes you might not touch the ball for 10, 15 minutes, but the fans are still there behind you, and it gives you that extra wee bit to say, you know what, they're appreciating the hard work that you're putting in to try and stop the other team from scoring. Yeah. And if you've not got that to support you, then it's hard to maintain that for the full 90 minutes.
You'd like to play in this team, wouldn't you?
Thursday, yes.
Sorry?
Colin, you do all right in this team, wouldn't you?
Not at this moment in time, though. maybe about 20 years ago, then I'd have loved to play in that team.
Would you have added a few goals to it, though?
Sorry?
Would you have added a few goals from that midfield area for us?
Well, one thing I was actually a wee bit disappointed in terms of my career with Wolves was I never felt that I scored enough goals. I come down from Scotland, and I know England, it's a lot harder than it was up in Scotland. You're playing against better players week in, week out. But I scored, I was double figures every season for about 5-6 seasons in Scotland. So I was a wee bit disappointed that my returns weren't better than what they were. But going back to the current team, with the likes, I feel one of the best defenders in terms of passing ability in Connor Cody in the Premiership. I think his passing ability is second to none. And for a player like me, who I like to make runs beyond the strikers, that'd be brilliant. And also Moutinho, Neves, boys that can put balls through the eye of a needle, would have been fantastic. But didn't get me wrong, listen, I played alongside some great players when we played in the teams that we did, Matty, didn't we?
Yeah, well, Incy, Alex Ray, yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Matt Kennedy, so players that could play good passes as well and see a pass. So, but yeah, it's exciting times.
It's not a lot of players though, Colin, that could actually, 20 years ago would just slot into this team so nicely. With your box to box, the goals that you brought, you could get the ball down and play as well. You're like the perfect mould. If they can go out and get a Colin Cameron, no, but seriously though, if you think about it, if they can go out and get a Colin Cameron now, it's something that probably the team's been lacking. That player that can get on the ball and drive. So it's quite surprising because not a lot of players that played, like you say, 20 years ago that could probably slide into the team the way as fast as the game is today, as intense as the game is today. You were the perfect mould, a player that could probably go through all these years and generations. It's fantastic.
I appreciate that. No, that's one thing that I'm probably critical when I watch games is I don't see many players like that are proper box-to-box players. Yeah. Listen, there's some fantastic players out there, but, there's ones that, can really graft for you and put in a shift and be good positionally and break up the play. There's ones that can, as I said, like Neves, who can pass for fun, and score some great goals. But in terms of, as you said, from box to box, I don't see many players out there. I think... Yeah. I'm trying to think the last player that I can actually say that was like that. And he doesn't actually play for Wolves, but the one that I go back to, and it's true, watching him up in Scotland, was Stuart Armstrong. I thought he was fantastic at doing that. And
is it the systems, Mickey? Is that why they don't, maybe slightly different systems, or?
I think the higher you go, I think a lot of it's more based on keeping the ball, because teams that you're playing against are technically so good that if you don't keep the ball, you're chasing your tails a wee bit. And I think maybe to my detriment, that was one thing that I could have been better at, is keeping the ball. But I try to make runs and make things happen and be positive whenever I had the ball. I think, I always say that, even as a coach now, that from a midfielder's point of view, that whenever you receive the ball, your first thought should always be, can you go forward? Whether it's run with the ball, commit somebody, make things happen, or play a forward pass, that's got to always be your first thought. And there's a lot of players, I think, in this day and age that don't actually do that. They're just, wait, now I'm in a system where I need to keep a hold of the ball. Yeah. I'm not wanting to force that, because if my pass percentage isn't good enough, I'm not going to be in this team. And they forget about what happens in maybe 2 or 3 other attempts where it does come off and you might get a goal at the end of it.
By the way, Colin, I don't know whether you're in charge of our electric meter as well, because our lights have gone down a little bit here as well as they go for the light show around Molineux. Right, we are nearly ready for kickoff. So before we let Colin go and before we get ready for it fully, let's get some predictions from you all. Colin, you can go first as our special guest. What are you going for tonight?
I'm actually confident. I think we'll win 2-1.
Okay, like it. Big Matt Murray.
I think we're in our groove, so we'll be ahead and ahead of Man City slightly. I think it's going to be an advantage. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win as well.
2-1 win as well. Looms?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I can't say 3-2. I don't see there being that many goals this evening, but 2-1 win for me as well.
Tomo?
Full board on sound, 2-1. So look, I'm going to go with boys. And we'll just have a little bit too much or be in front of Man City as they are this season already.
Well, I am going to
1-0. Is that what you're going?
Change the habit of a lifetime. And I think there'll be goals. I am going to go 3-2.
Oh.
Repeat of last season. Why not? Go for it. Hopefully, we're going to see a pretty special game. Colin, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it.
Great to see you, Mickey.
All the best, guys.
Cheers. All the best.
Cheers.
Thank you, Cameron. More from Chris Iwelumo and Matt Murray to come, and of course commentary from myself and Andy Thompson. Do not go anywhere. Wolves TV, Matchday Live. The game is coming next.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group.
This season, the Old Gold Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
Well, two teams whose seasons extended via Europe last term. The first home game in the new Premier League campaign for Wolves. The first game in any competition for Manchester City. Last year's 3-2 win here for the Old Gold pretty much defined the Nuno era. Sendings off, missed penalties, incredible comebacks and late drama. It had it all. Another Wolves win tonight would be the first time in Pep Guardiola's managerial career to lose 3 consecutive league games against the same opponent. Wolves are also 1 win away from becoming only the 4th team in English football to win 2,000 league games. Nuno makes 1 change from the side that started at Sheffield United a week ago. Ruben Neves comes in to start in midfield in place of Leander Dendoncker, who drops to be amongst the substitutes. It's Rui Patricio in goal, Willy Bolly, Connor Cody and Romain Sage, the back 3. Adama Traore continues on right wing back, Marçal on the left wing back, Neves and João Moutinho in midfield, Pedro Neto, Raul Jimenez and Daniel Podence, the attacking three. Manchester City have Ederson in goal, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Nathan Ake on his debut, and Benjamin Mendy their back four. Rodri, Fernandinho, and Kevin De Bruyne in midfield. Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, and Gabriel Jesus up top. On the relative substitute benches, John Ruddy, Fabio Silva, Vitinha, Ruben Vinagre, Leander Dendoncker, Max Kilman, and Oscar Burr. For City, Zach Steffen, a young goalkeeper, Ferran Torres, Riyad Mahrez, Nicolas Otamendi, Liam Delap, Tommy Doyle, and Adrian Benabe. It's a very young-looking City bench, and hopefully, Tomo, we are in for another one of those extra special nights.
Yeah, I hope so as well, Salah. But just hope we don't leave it as late as we did last time we were here with the Doughty winner. But say it was a great game, wasn't it? They got you on the edge of your seats and to come away with a victory. And the double last year on them was a great thing to do. So, again, we always know that the benchmark's going to be Man City because they're going to be there or thereabouts with Liverpool for the title. So it just shows you how far we've come when people are giving us good opportunity to win the game. Well, it's going to be tough, though. It's going to be tough.
They are the bookies' favourites before the season began.
Yeah, they're a good side, aren't they? They're a good side. And I say they've got one of the best coaches in the world with them as well. He knows how to win games. And also as well, helps to have world-class players on there as well. De Bruyne.
We are just waiting for the TV producers to give the go-ahead to get us under the lights. It's never quite the same without all of you here with us. But we thank you for joining us as ever here on Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra. And Andre Mariner is getting the go-ahead. Countdown is on the big screen. We are moments away. And as ever, every player will take a knee. A continued message that is sent around the world. Manchester City to get us going then. Wolves playing from right to left as we look at it in the first half, defending the Sir Jack Haywood South Bank away to our right, attacking the Stan Cullis North Bank away to our left. Steve Ball stand on the far side, and we as ever at the front of the Billy Wright stand. And immediately, Pedro Neto being penalised. Manchester City free kick on halfway. Wolves in gold shirts with the black sleeves, gold shorts, black shorts and gold socks. Man City in their chain strip, white shirts, navy blue shorts and white socks. Wolves launched a new kit on Friday.
I saw that it was the most popular one for years, isn't it?
Yeah. It's gone down very well. I think it's a Portugal-inspired kit.
Yeah, look, nice colours on it. Nice colours.
Having had the Mexican-inspired third kit last season, the Portugal-inspired third kit this season.
I think it would suit you. I think it'll suit you.
And a Tomo Tan-inspired third kit coming next year. Lovely shade of mahogany, I think it's going to be. Seen the designs.
Same shade.
They've even factored in your chest hair in the design as well, which is more remarkable. So City in possession on halfway. All back with Nathan Ake to his left-hand side. De Bruyne looking to lift it up early. Sterling on the turn away from Bolly into the penalty area, and Sterling goes down inside the box, and Andre Mariner just points for a goal kick, and didn't seem to be too much protest coming from Raheem Sterling, though I think VAR will just give this a quick check.
I think so as well, just watching it. No, he's not touched him. He's gone to ground. Sterling, near enough exactly the same position where Mahrez got the penalty from.
It was Cody's challenge. I'm not sure there was a huge amount of connection.
Yeah, well, surely the referee should be having a talk with him. Conor Cody's furious.
Decision is no penalty.
Yeah.
Confirmed on the big screen in the corner of the stadium.
Well, we got to see the replay, didn't we? You could see there, he hasn't touched him at all.
Sterling coming forwards again. City starting strongly in the opening moments here at Molineux. Wolves against Manchester City. Ball is played backwards to John Stones inside the centre circle. Up to the left-hand side. Rodri under pressure from Jimenez, going backwards to Nathan Ake. Big money transfer this summer.
Yeah, well, he's after a centre-half, wasn't he? So he spent a lot of money on him to bring him in.
The City have been maybe a little bit unusually quiet. Ferran Torres coming in as well. He's amongst the substitutes today. Of course, there was talk at one point that they were going to get Messi.
Well, I think that would have been the only place he would have gone. Guardiola, wouldn't it? That would have been the only place that he might have gone to leave Barcelona. But as it was, big change and change.
De Bruyne falls to Sterling inside the penalty area again, trying to force his way in field. Martinho has got a toe to the ball. Neves clearing as far as Jimenez, and Jimenez tackled by Nathan Ake, but the ball goes all the way behind for a goal kick. And Wolves just haven't really quite got going just yet.
No, they haven't. So look, definitely Man City are on the front foot, haven't they? So you saw that drive from Sterling earlier on. So look, and you can see that high press, working hard to get that ball back, putting pressure on the Wolves players. Just got to try and think and get it, like a ball like that from Saiss into Pedence is the ball that you got to do.
Yeah, Pedence found Neto, who goes over the halfway line. Support coming from Marçal. An impressive debut last week at Sheffield United. Unused sub on Thursday against Stoke. Of course, he was a part of the Lyon team that knocked out Manchester City in their final game of last season. Big long diagonal from Cody, looking to Traore, just a little bit too much on that pass, and out of play for a City throw deep inside their own half.
Yeah, so look, I don't think Mendy will be too happy about playing against Traore again, will he? There's a big success against him. So I think that's going to be a good outlet for us. Try and pick him out.
Mendy with a throw, got it back from De Bruyne. Cleared up towards halfway. Jesus challenging with Cody. Saiss got it forwards, and Neves looked to be caught there by Kevin De Bruyne. And Wolves get themselves a free kick just over the halfway line.
Yeah, De Bruyne is probably just because he's shown his studs a little bit. I don't think there was much in it, but it was a foul. He's all right.
Early one, looking for Pedence, intercepted by Ake. Fernandinho forwards. There is Rodri. Out to the right-hand side to Kyle Walker. Over the halfway line comes the England fullback. Being tracked all the way by Neto. Back in field to Fernandinho. Further behind him to Stones.
Oh, I'm just watching down at the...
Yeah, Vinagres.
Yeah.
Come back and stripped him ready. So maybe Marçal's got an issue.
Oh, looks like it, doesn't it? 5 minutes gone. You think that's going to possibly be the only change?
The ball is back with Edison, who's in Illuminous Pink tonight.
Well, I'm just watching him run, Marçal. So look, he doesn't seem to be hindered in any way.
We'll wait and see
who
it is that's got the problem at the minute. Yeah, it looks to be moving all right.
Is it Neto pulled up, or maybe Vinagre might playing just in front of him?
In the meantime, Saiss has been forced to track back with Gabriel Jesus at his back. Pass to Patricio, lifts it over. Jesus calmly to find Saiss in the left-back position. Cleared forwards up to Pedence, who tried to control on the chest, but Stones nipped in and got it from him. Saiss winning possession back. City have it again, though. Gabriel Jesus, just to the right-hand corner of the penalty area. And closed down by Ruben Neves. And then in the end, Marçal got a foot in on the ball. Fernandinho, Jesus, and that came off Marçal. Will be a Man City throw in.
Well, he looks okay, doesn't he? Just trying to... Oh, no, he is coming.
Yeah, and that is it for his home debut for Marçal.
Yeah, he's just skipped there as if he's pulled something up. But he was moving freely. But he doesn't seem happy about it.
Only 7 minutes in. And Marcel is off. And Ruben Vinagre comes on.
Yeah, so he's got to be injured. He's gone straight in, hasn't he? Gone to the medical staff.
He's not gone down the tunnel. He will go and take a place in the stand, but Wolves...
I think he's gone back down the tunnel now. I think the doctors or one of the physios are just told to be down.
Yeah, he will head off with Rui Fust, one of the medical staff. In the meantime, here's Benjamin Mendy in field towards the edge of the D, closed down sharply by Bolly. Ball rebounds out towards Walker. Good challenge by Neto, and Vinagre putting his foot through it. Well, it was Vinagre and Traore who started as wing-backs in Wolves' famous 2-0 win away at Manchester City last season.
Good omen then, hopefully.
Certainly, Wolves wouldn't have wanted to make such an early change, and of course it potentially limits what they can do later on in the game.
Yeah, but we know that he can offer, Vinagre can offer that going forward as well, can't he? I know that he wouldn't have wanted to make the change so early on, but so look, he couldn't deal with Marcel being injured or carrying an injury.
Here's Ake. Back for Stones. Now Nathan Ake again. Wide for Mendy, back into his own half. Ake hurried by Jimenez. Bolly trying to head the ball away. Traore battling away with Mendy and trying to run it infield, but ran straight into De Bruyne, who flicked it early forwards, and Sterling and Bolly in a chase, but Bolly showed his strength to win the battle.
I was just about to say, great strength. Great strength by him. Just edged him out.
Jimenez infield to Moutinho. He's caught in possession. A combination of Mendy and Rodri, and Jesus. Sliding challenge came in from Neto. Free kick will be given in a dangerous position, and it is not quite working for Wolves at the minute.
No, it's not. They're struggling to get a hold of the ball at all, aren't they? But again, this is going to be a dangerous position with De Bruyne in there. So look, and the quality that he's got. You saw it as he's been tackled.
Oh, there's nothing in that.
No.
Just seeing a replay on the little screen in front of us. Jesus just went over, anticipating a challenger from Pedro Neto that never actually arrived. 10 minutes gone in the game. And we know the quality that Kevin De Bruyne has from this kind of distance.
Well, you'd think he's going to definitely test the goalkeeper, wouldn't you? The quality he's got on his delivery.
Would you say just under 25 yards?
Yeah.
Just to the left of centre as you look towards the south bank. City have two men to the side of the wall trying to block Rui Patricio's view. Here comes De Bruyne over the wall, curling, and Patricio just had to parry it away to his left-hand side. It was probably a bit straighter than De Bruyne would have wanted, and certainly that allowed Patricio to watch it all the way.
Yeah, he's fortunate that he wasn't too far to his left, was it? But the problem what he had was Patricio, he took a step to his right, and then the ball's gone left. He was lucky that it wasn't another yard the other way. But again, he was able to just get his body to, well, both his hands to it.
There's Nathan Ake for Mendy over the halfway line. It's been all Manchester City so far. Wolves only 26% possession in the opening 10 minutes at home. Fernandinho intercepted by Saï. Strong challenge to deny Foden.
Yeah, they're working so hard on and off the ball, aren't they? Man City. Got to try and keep in possession, get at them a little bit more.
Well, here comes Pedence, released by Traore down the right-hand side. Rodri trying to go all the way with him. Pedence needs a bit of support to arrive. There isn't anybody within about 20 metres. Eventually, all went infield to Neves, who flicked it forwards, but harmlessly all the way through to Ederson. Pedence went scampering down that right-hand side and looked up, and
he had nothing, did he? That's where we've got to try and support him. We've got to work hard trying to get up there. It was a good break as well by him. But that's where Traore's got to try and support him. Either overlapping him or from behind. Just needs to get something on the goal there. Try and push Man City back.
Walker's crossfield ball. Traore heading it back over the halfway line.
Yeah, he did well there against Mendes, didn't he?
There comes Kyle Walker over halfway to De Bruyne, who's popped up on the right-hand side, looking to drift in field away from Neto, finding Rodri. That's the left-hand side to Mendy, midway inside the Wolves half. Mendy, little ball in field to find Sterling, backwards to Rodri again. Now picked up by Nathan Ake. Stones taking it on. Wide to the touchline for Foden. That is discretions with England in Iceland.
Yeah, we're going to have to take care of it, I think. We've got to try and stop Man City or just knock them off the path a little bit, because relentless at the moment, so they keep coming. But as I said, they're working really hard to get the ball back when they do lose the ball, Man City.
Yeah, you could hear Nuno trying to get some encouragement going to his players. They are hanging on in there in the opening 13 and a half minutes. Haven't seen anything really from them in an offensive sense.
No, that's the thing. So they've got to do something, because the quality of what they've got, sooner or later, if they keep coming, they're going to open us up.
There's Walker down the right-hand side. He's got Foden ahead of him, goes back infield to Fernandinho, who looks to lift a cross in from deep towards Sterling, who chested it down towards Gabriel Jesus, but Cody read the danger well and got there first and cleared to Traore. Matinho up to Podence. Infield to Matinho, trying to get it on early to Adama Traore, and Traore suddenly has options ahead of him as he gets into the penalty area, trying to lift the ball. It was behind Jimenez. It'll come all the way through to Vinagre, though.
Yeah, that's better, isn't it? A little bit of link-up play there. Traore I would have just liked to get at Stones there. He had a one-on-one chance to get at him. He would have drove him into the penalty area. I would have liked him just to have a go at him.
Here's Podence looking to lift it in early towards Jimenez. Stones across there in front of him, but forced really wide out towards the Man City left-hand corner flag, and movements going out of play, and maybe Wolves just beginning to get a bit of a foothold here.
Well, that's a little bit better, isn't it? At least they've got Man City on the back foot a little bit. But it's come from the quality up to the forwards. I think for me, it's runners gone beyond. That's what you've got to do. If you've got to try and pull Man City around, you've got to be willing just to get past them or get behind them.
Just about 15 minutes played tonight. Matinho with a flick on. Podence can't get there. Stones with a clearance. It'll come back to Podence, trying to tee it up for the strike of Neto, and it was locked inside the penalty area. Vinagre on the left-hand touchline, picking up on the loose ball, trying to run direct at Kyle Walker. Shades of a couple of seasons ago in the League Cup at the Etihad, when Vinagre was a young teenager, showed no fear that night. Nothing quite comes of it this time. City have possession back inside their own half.
Yeah, just set that little trap in the Man City just down the right-hand side, sorry. But we're starting to get a little bit better into the game now.
Here comes De Bruyne at the other end, though, driving deep into the Wolves half, trying to slide it into the penalty area. It'll come through to Sterling, who will be offside. And Wolves will get the free kick and a chance to clear their lines. Wolves 0, Manchester City 0, 16 minutes played.
Yeah, at least they're starting to offer something going forward now, aren't they? 2 or 3 times where they've started to ask questions of the Man City defence. It's just that little bit of quality, isn't it? And those runners going beyond what are going to cause Man City the problem. If you're playing everything in front of them, they'll be happy with that.
Josir's clearance. Traore heading the ball back in field. Fernandinho over halfway. Neves pouncing. Here's Neto trying to release Jimenez. Jimenez was trying to stay onside, and I think he may well have done. Right inside of the penalty area, attempted pull back. Well blocked off, though, by Mendy, who puts his foot through it and hoofs it downfield. Cody lifting the ball wide left for Vinagre. Podence is waving him on to try and run down the left-hand side. Vinagre infield away from Foden. Backwards to Neves. Wide for Neto. Neves backwards to Cody. It's been a better spell for Wolves in the last couple of minutes. Neto for Neves. Wide to Vinagre. Good first time football from Wolves. Vinagre backwards to Saiz. Sai's been told to switch, and it's a lovely ball out to the chest of Traore. Trying to flick it forwards towards Pedenson. In came the head of Ake.
Yeah, it's not the kind of ball Pedence wants, is it, in the air? So I thought that Traore could possibly just give it to his feet a little bit better.
But he was waiting for it to settle, wasn't he? And it just kept bouncing on him.
But I'm surprised he didn't just control it a little bit, because he's controlled it brilliantly on his chest to start with. But I thought he had the opportunity just to control it on his foot, just to bring it down. Then he'd be able to play Pedence in.
Foden for Manchester City. Back to Stones, right-hand side of the centre circle. Turning and playing it back out to Phil Foden. Trying to slide it in behind for the run of De Bruyne. Oh, and Saiz slid in, and Saiz is in trouble, and it's a Manchester City penalty. Just past the quarter hour here. Approaching 20 minutes gone. Romain Saiz gambled that he could try and win the ball. He didn't get there. De Bruyne just helped it on, waited for the challenge, went over the outstretched legs of Saiz. And for the second year in a row, City can take the lead from the penalty spot at Molineux.
Yeah, I don't think he had to go to ground, did he? He's running down there. I know he's just got a touch on it, but just follow him down there. Especially with De Bruyne. So look, he's deceptively quicker than he looks with the way that he covers the ground, and just got a toe to it before Saiz coming.
Well, Rui Patricio saved twice from Raheem Sterling in that same goal here last season. De Bruyne is taking the responsibility for City now to step up right-footed, strikes it to the left of Patricio, who guessed right but could not get there as it found its way into the far corner. 19 minutes played. It's Wolves 0, Manchester City 1.
I say he's put his head up in the air. So like, Patricio, he went the right way, but it was just the accuracy and the power of the penalty spot. Oh, just watching it again, the replay. Oh, he's put it straight into the side netting. And that comes on the back of a little spell from Wolves, wasn't it, where they put a little bit of pressure on Man City.
It was maybe just a glimmer as VAR were going through and watching that penalty decision as to whether Saiz actually made contact with De Bruyne, or De Bruyne just simply went over the legs of Saiz.
Yeah.
But always going to be one of those situations where you gave De Bruyne the opportunity and he took it. Traore out-muscled. A rare occasion. Wolves not being able to hold on to the ball at the minute. Jesus, well tackled by Cody this time. Cody, though, has lost possession, and De Bruyne is racing forwards up towards the edge of the penalty area. City looking dangerous again, and the cross took a deflection off Ruben Neves, tracking all the way in behind for a corner.
Yeah, Man City are not a side that you can give the ball away cheaply, and that's what happened there. Got to take care of it a lot better. They're a team that can punish you.
Wolves have been punished so far. And they are not holding on to the ball. And they are giving it away far too easily. And they're 1-0 down already. And trying to prevent it going to 2. Came off Jimenez's head at the near post and behind for another corner, this time from the right-hand side. Nuno looking towards his bench. Deep in thought and conversation. So what they need to do here to try and turn things around. 21.5 minutes played at Molineux. De Bruyne's corner taken short to Kyle Walker. Infield to Foden. Back wide again to Kyle Walker. Looking to run at Neto on the outside. Managed to get his cross in, but it'll be blocked off by Jimenez, who is still back defending. His attempted clearance hit De Bruyne and will be a Wolves free kick and a chance to clear their lines.
Yeah, I don't know if it was offside or just handball. I suppose give it, but again, so they're working so hard, Man City. Makes you think whether or not they can sustain that for the whole game, because they are pressing Wolves as high as they can.
Well, fitness may play a part.
Yeah.
Well, City had a couple of extra days on their campaign than Wolves did and ended up getting a full week off because of it. Whereas Wolves have had to play 2 games already in the last week. And of course, most of these City players will have been away on international duty. Rodri finding De Bruyne up towards halfway. Mendy racing past him on the overlap. Back in field to Rodri.
Yeah, I'm just watching that as well when we press in. It sounds like we either pressing as a team or we back off for me. So like Man City do it as a team, as a collective, and they make it difficult for teams to get there. But if we're just going in 1 or 2 players, as we just saw there, Man City are just going to pick them off. We've got to try and squeeze as a team if we're going to do it. If not, just let them have the ball at the back and say, wait till they come, and then we start to squeeze and set those little traps.
There's Ake for City. Wide for De Bruyne, who's dropped into the left-back position with Mendy over the halfway line. Ball goes back to Ake again, to Ederson, who's outside of his penalty area. Sweeps it low, left-footed to Kyle Walker. Infield to Fernandinho. Walker, back to Stones. All the way back to Ederson again. And it's these kind of situations where a passionate vocal crowd inside Molineux would maybe start to make a difference and get Wolves' tempo levels going up. At the minute, they're just being made to chase shadows as City move the ball around them. Walker, midway inside the Wolves' half. 5 in from the touchline to Foden. A 1-2 with Fernandinho. Now picking up De Bruyne. Trying to slide it in for Raheem Sterling. This time too heavy a pass and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, initially there, so they were letting Man City just have it across the back. But once they start to get into that midfield area, you've got to be so careful. Little one-touch play there. Fortunate, a rare one there for De Bruyne. Overhitting his pass. But again, they've got to press as a team. They've got to work hard. If they're going to get anything out of it, they're going to have to put a lot of pressure on Man City.
Tricio's clearance. It forwards by Rodri. Volley back to halfway. Rodri being closed down by Martinho. And Stones, now Walker, over the halfway line. Closed down by Neto. Goes back into his own half to Stones. So we have played 25 minutes so far. Wolves have only had 33% possession. There's Cody trying to find Neto. Thought about an early ball for Podence. Takes it wide himself though and ends up running out of room under pressure from Fernandinho. It's a City throw in front of Pep Guardiola's technical area.
Well, you've just seen the difference there. Neto's got it, surrounded by 3 Man City players. I just thought that he could have just utilised the ball a little bit better there on after, because initially when he got it, he was away. I just thought that he could have get at them once he started twisting and turning, coming back, and they just set those little chaps just to catch him.
Walker with a throw infield to Sterling. De Bruyne wide for Mendy. Mendy looking to race at Adama Traore, trying to feed it in behind. Jesus has gone down off the ball. It'll go all the way through to Rui Patricio.
Yeah, so he's got that in his locker, and anything that comes near him.
Saiss back to Patricio. Under pressure from Jesus. Walker chesting it down. Foden infield. De Bruyne intercepted by Bolly, who tried to clear.
Just can't get hold of it, can we? Snapping at everything.
Walker crossing from deep. Bolly getting the ball away. Again, Gabriel Jesus had gone down off the ball. Mendy, De Bruyne, Sterling. De Bruyne, 30 yards from goal. Sterling again, drifting forwards. Neves trying to win it. Foden there. There just seems to be more of Manchester City at the moment. Fernandinho. Gabriel Jesus out on the right-hand side, trying to slide it in behind Saiss, and with Sterling at his back, just puts it behind for a Manchester City corner.
Well, I thought it was going to be a replica of the penalty there. Just tried to slide it in there for Sterling. He's just able to get a foot to this one. But you can see Man City growing in confidence, can't you? Some one-touch football. Wolves can't get near them at the moment.
Just feels like they're two up top for Wolves. Impedence and Jimenez just feel very isolated. De Bruyne's corner, right-footed from the right-hand side. Bolly's header away. Sterling will have time to collect and play it backwards to Mendy. 1-2. Sterling then into the centre circle for Walker. To his right-hand side to Foden. They seem to be quicker and sharper in every element at the minute, Man City.
You're just watching them. They know what they're going to do with the ball straight away when it's come towards them.
Vinagre winning the ball in the area ahead of De Bruyne, but at the expense of a throw. Stones backwards for Walker. All the time in the world inside his own half to collect it and play a 1-2 with Rodri. Now across for Nathan Ake. Stones to the right-hand side to Walker. Over halfway to Foden. De Bruyne infield. His loose pass. Stones there ahead of Pedence though. And even when City make a mistake, they have the numbers to reorganise.
Yeah, when a misplaced pass, they just tidy it up, don't they?
Bolly's header, De Bruyne, tackled by Ruben Neves. Loose one from him, looking for Traore, gives City a throw. And almost for a man all through the 11 tonight, Wolves seem to be struggling.
Yeah, they just can't get anywhere near them at the minute. And so, look, I think that...
Well, here's Sterling into the penalty area, striking it, but well taken by Patricio at his near post.
Yeah, good hands from him. Nice and easy. They were following up.
Giving it away again, Vinagre. Fernandinho, Foden, De Bruyne, Fernandinho on the outside, right-hand side, infield to Foden. Left-footed ball in, blocked off by Cody just inside the box. Early one to Pedence. Matinho trying to lift it forwards. Neto trying to join the attack. Stones infield to Fernandinho. And the switch across to Mendy. And there's a huge amount of space for Mendy to bring it forwards and find De Bruyne. Gabriel Jesus would have been offside and they will pull it back.
They've got to sharpen up. We've got to get hold of the ball. And so, like, you can just watch Man City there, just growing in confidence. Some of the football, Wolves just can't get near them or anywhere near them. And then what they do without the ball is they work really hard to win it back as high up the pitch as possible. Look, say if they're squeezing up, there's got to be a way out. So you've got to have one of your lads come short, Pedence or Jimenez, just so you can hit them or get it into the feet. But at the moment,
Cody with a long ball from the free kick for Jimenez, but Ederson right out to the left-hand corner of his box to claim it. Maybe needs to rethink this at half-time. Neto has effectively had to drop back in and play as another midfielder, which is something that he kind of did at Sheffield United, though when you're on the counter-attack and you're in front, it's great. When you've got a team like City who are prepared just to play it around you, question mark will be, do they need a Dendoncker in there?
they've just got to do more with the ball. They've just got to have options. Right. At the moment, they've only got one option, and Man City are closing them down. Look, again, they're pressing really hard. They're sprinting to close them down. Got to help each other. They've got to go out there and try and support each other.
Traore. It's a rather wasted pass forwards that Ake intercepted. When Wolves have had the ball, they haven't been careful enough with it. De Bruyne, Sterling into the penalty area. Patricio Kane, Foden will tap the ball home from the left-footed ball, slid into him. And Wolves are 2-0 down, and it is not going well tonight. Simple goal, not for the first time. De Bruyne sliding in Sterling. He was bound to get it right sooner rather than later, and then selfishly teed it up for Foden. And Manchester City have doubled their advantage at Molineux.
Yeah, and so look, with a player like him, you know, he can pick a pass, just slid him in. So they're just checking offside, VAR.
Well, Wolves will be hoping, above all hope, that VAR will come to their rescue here. We haven't seen it on our screen just yet.
Yeah, it's goal.
Onside. Always seemed too much wishful thinking. Well, this has been poor from Wolves.
It is.
It's rare that I would ever say that, but this has not been good so far.
It's in the control of the ball. Got to do better with the ball.
Here's Jimenez trying to switch the play out to Vinagre. Back in field to Neves. Wide for Vinagre again. Close down. Does well to get away from De Bruyne and Foden, but then trying to do too much. Gave the ball away to Walker. And if they're not careful here, Wolves, they could get a right pasting tonight.
Yeah. They've got to up the game. They've got to up the game, especially when they've got possession of it. At the moment, Man City are beating them in all departments with and without the ball.
Walker with the throw. I think everybody's screens in the press box have frozen. So no replays for us at the minute. There hasn't really been anything that'd be worth watching again. Saiz caught late by Gabriel Jesus. Saiz is not very happy. And a yellow card being shown to Jesus.
He's moaned at everything, hasn't he? He's gone to ground easily, so he's moaned about every decision. He's moaning to the referee again about that.
Here's Cody. Wide to Matinho. Traore trying to run down the right-hand side. Traore trying to get the better of Mendy, and he took a tumble. He'll win Wolves a free kick in an advanced position.
See, if we can just get him on the ball, he's going to cause Mendy trouble.
A yellow card for Mendy as well.
Yeah. We just need to get him on the ball. Was it 35 minutes gone and he's hardly got up the top end of the pitch?
Well, a discussion maybe at half-time for you and the boys is, do they bring on Oscar Burr and just push Traore further forwards to try and cause some problems? In the meantime, Matinho and Neto stood over the free kick. It's only just outside the penalty area on that right-hand side. Jimenez, Bolly, Saiz, Pedenza in the area. City have got everybody in white shirts inside the 18-yard box. Saiz is trying to stand in front of Ederson. Matinho's delivery didn't quite beat the first man. Mendy's header went high in the air. Jimenez trying to get to grips with it. Fernandinho managed to get it away. Sterling and Neto collide, and Manchester City will get the free kick out on their left-hand touchline.
Yeah, again, so they've got to get past that first man, haven't they? Got to get past that first man. No, it's just trying to show the offside. What's an offside?
Yeah, Cody just played Sterling on. But that's the issue, because Traore is not a defender, so he wasn't there to track it.
Got caught, hasn't he? Got caught ball watching.
And we saw it happen a couple of times at Sheffield United with Billy Sharp last week. Man City were clearly watching. And of course, there is plenty of talk in the media about potential wing-back reinforcements to come in. There's Vinagre. Marcel, having gone off injured in the first half, doesn't help Wolves' cause either. With Johnny out injured. Walker's throw back to Stones. 37 minutes played at Molineux. Wolves came back from 2-0 down against Manchester City last season. They've got to hope that they can do it again, though. The noise that inspired them is not here.
They're going to have to generate themselves, aren't they? They've got to get this turnaround.
Patricio's kick forwards. Traore trying to hold off his man. Infield to Moutinho. Wide to the right-hand side to Podence, looking to run at Mendy, but Mendy stood firm and City got the ball back. And Traore out of position as Mendy goes down the left-hand side. Ball infield to Sterling. Loose one from him, and Patricio will come out and claim.
Yeah, just look at this is where we need somebody to hit the ball to. They're pressing with 4 players, Man City. We've got to try and get that, have that out ball. There you go. Connor Cody's just a found one.
But Podence didn't hold on to it.
No.
De Bruyne up to Foden into the penalty area. Foden left-footed, couldn't curl it on target. Thankfully wide of the far post, but a big let-off for Wolves again, who could have been 3-0 down in under 40 minutes.
Yeah. So I think Nuno's just said something to Podence about needs to keep hold of it for the team. But that's what they've got to look at. They've got to try and find that ball that they can slot in to stop the press from Man City. Because they're doing it with 4 players, 5 at times sometimes, if Kyle Walker's pushing on.
Well, they need something here. Wolves, they need some inspiration. At the minute, they are being pegged back again. Sterling, foot in by Moutinho.
Yeah,
Andre Mariner didn't like it, though.
I think he's kind of going. Jesus again. Sitting on the floor again.
Tell that Gabriel Jesus is not on Tomo's speed dial list. Traore on the turn. Trying to drift in field. Ran into Rodri. Wolves free kick. Does feel like Wolves maybe looking round and thinking who's going to produce that something. So often it has been Traore.
We just go with the 2 up front and then Donker on.
Cody with a long ball trying to get Vinagre in. Walker's header will drop down to Podence. Podence through the legs of Rodri to Jimenez. Jimenez being forced wide, trying to go towards the byline here. Tempted cross, deflected and behind for a Wolves corner.
It's better by Jimenez, isn't it? Driving forward with the ball. Just comes off Mendy, I think it is. Out for a corner. Be nice to get some off this.
Neto, left-footed from the right-hand side. Coutinho was going to go short. Podence is going short. He'll play it back to Pedro Neto under pressure from Sterling. Back to Traore, first time cross. Jimenez's header, it's high and wide. It's pretty much the best opportunity Wolves have created in 41 minutes.
Well, it is a decent delivery from Traore, wasn't it? And you could see what Jimenez was trying to do, just couldn't get the direction right. Got the power on it. Just watching the replay again. Yeah, so he was probably leaning back a little bit as well.
Faces of some of the Wolves players says it all at the minute. Frustration and anger. And I think they might be feeling some of that at half-time.
Oh, I think there might be. He's standing there with his arms folded, Nuno.
Jesus on for Sterling. Cody being forced out wide with him. Traore going over to help, and Sterling trying to hold it up in the corner flag. Wolves managed to win it back. Cody's clearance there will go straight to Rodri. Jimenez trying to work a bit harder. Header forward by Nathan Ake. Traore just clearing it, but just straight to a Manchester City player. Here's Walker. Back in field to Rodri, midway inside the Wolves half to Sterling. Sterling cutting in field. Goes down under a challenge of Martinho, but nothing given, and Wolves will try and hit on the counter-attack with Daniel Podence over halfway. Vinagre in field. Support from Neves just inside his own half, but Foden was working so hard, and you can see Nuno's frustration that Wolves didn't really go anywhere there.
Well, he wanted them to go forward, didn't he? So he had an opportunity. There was a couple of runners just watching there. Jimenez coming in from the right-hand side, and there was a possibility of putting him in. And I think that's what Nuno was going on about.
Well, Martinho needed a shout to take his time. Jesus flicking on. Here's De Bruyne into the penalty area, and that's a big save by Rui Patricio. Super stop right before half-time. Wolves carved open, and it needed the Portuguese number 1 to make a vital interception to keep it down to 2-0.
Yeah, great save. Just watching the replay again. Just got caught with runners again, De Bruyne. Yeah, great save. Great save.
But somebody's got to tell Martinho that he didn't need to head that there.
Yeah.
He could have just brought it down. And it caused Wolves all sorts of problems. Off the shoulder of Rui Patricio to deny De Bruyne, who takes the corner, right-footed from the right-hand side, whipped into the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Neves. Mendy, back out to the right-hand side to De Bruyne. Headed on here for Rodri, who will fire it goalwards. Oh, and that was a whisker from the far post. Not entirely sure he meant that as a strike on goal. It could have been a cross. In the end, it nearly found its way in.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was fortunate he didn't bend any more because he hit it so clean. Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's a shot.
Swerved across it.
Yeah. If he swerved a little bit more, we were in trouble. Because you can see bending all the... Patricio wasn't getting it.
Well, they are trying all sorts at the minute, Manchester City. Jimenez looked offside there. Flag will go up. 7 shots that Man City have had to 2 from Wolves. 5 of City's have been on target. None of Wolves' efforts. Only 34% possession in the opening 45 minutes. This is not the new Wolves that we were so enthralled by last week at Bramall Lane.
No. Needs to change a little bit for the second half. Well, a little bit needs to change for the second half. If they're going to start to lay a glove on Man City, they've got to offer a little bit more. They've got to take care of the ball a lot better.
2 minutes still to play. Fernandinho. Backwards to Stones. Fernandinho again. Up to halfway for Rodrigo.
See that? They just play the ball. As soon as it comes to them, they've got options.
De Bruyne's low cross in. Bolly and Cody there ahead of Gabriel Jesus. And Saiz will clear. Podence couldn't hold it. And Walker with an awkward one deep into his own half that Stones has time to go and collect and play in field to Edison. Mendy in field. Rodri back to him. We'll come all the way back to Nathan Ake. Infield to Fernandinho, midway inside his own half.
We're just too far off them. We're too far up. If you're closing it down, we're too far off them. By the time we get in there, the ball's gone. Got to get closer to them. If we're going to press it.
Yeah, it's just too easy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
though, standing off them.
Well, the ball's to the Man City player, and we're still travelling towards it. By that time, it's too late. So like, they've already passed it, or they've gone inside, or whatever they're doing. But we've got to be there closer. We've got to be touch tight. You watch them close down. The ball comes into a Wolves player, and they're snapping at them.
Yeah, there's not really the pressure on any of these passes. City are just happy just to knock it around inside their own half. They know the clock is ticking down for half time. Don't need to push themselves forwards just yet. And eventually they'll wait to try and capitalise on an error or draw Wolves out of position. Sterling, just the left of the centre circle, over halfway. Put it back from Rodri, and that is the half-time whistle. And well, that was a pretty chastening experience, it has to be said. all the optimism that came into a game like this, and Wolves found themselves behind to a Kevin De Bruyne penalty after 20 minutes after Romain Saiss had slid in to try and stop him going down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Phil Foden doubled City's advantage after 32 minutes, but in truth, Manchester City have been by far the better team. They could have scored many, many more goals here.
Yeah, they could have. So, look, as I said earlier, the play with the ball and without the ball has been outstanding. The way that they close it down, they're giving people no opportunity at all to play. But that's where I'm saying we've got to work harder when we've got the ball. We've got to give options. We've got to try and help each other. At the minute, we're not doing it. So, look, and Man City are just dictating the whole of the game, the possession, the opportunities. And I'm sure Nuno will have a few words to say to them when they come back out, or when they go into the changing room, sorry.
Well, we're going to hear more from Tomo, Matt Murray and Chris Iwelumo as well at half-time here at Molineux. It is Wolves 0, Manchester City 2.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe
Group. This season, the Old Gold Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
So here we are at half-time, and you can kind of tell by the subdued nature of my voice that it is not going well here at Molineux so far. Wolves are 2-0 down. Probably could have been a little bit worse. Chris Iwelumo, I'll come to you first. What's not working? Why is it going wrong?
Just giving them far too much respect. You know, I think first and foremost, you get in their faces. Yeah, they're a good team, but if you sit back and allow them to dictate the tempo, they've got the quality throughout that can hurt you. You know, and in moments as well, I just feel that when we have got the ball, you know, we're not. One of our strong points is going forward with a purpose, seeing a pass and playing it. I just think we're a little bit lacklustre in how we're moving the ball around as well. And that's down to how well City are set up. They're setting little traps that when they do intercept the ball, we've already got 2-3 players out of position, and they're very direct, aren't they? But you have to get in their faces. You know, you have to make sure that they know that they're in a game. And to be fair, it's been disappointing. But again, a goal changes this, and that's the positive side of things. You get back into it, but at the minute, we're not being that creative when we've got the ball and good possession as well.
Matt Murray, what do you make of that first 45?
Really difficult, and a good lesson for Wolves, really, and there'll be a lot of learning from it. I feel that Manchester City have obviously come out they've been itching to go. Do you know what I mean? They've seen other teams have started, and they thought, we've done our work. Probably a few lads have been away on international duty. They've come back in now. They know that Pep Guardiola will be looking to recruit more players in the window. And these lads are saying, oi, Gaffer, we're all right, you know. We're top players. We're hurting from last season. And we're going to put down a real statement tonight. So I agree with Looms that from a Wolves point of view, they think we need to get closer to them. But from a Man City point of view, the way they've controlled the game, and that's something Wolves like to do. I can't think of any sustained spells of possession that Wolves have had.
Yeah.
It's been Man City dominating it, Kevin De Bruyne pulling the strings, and Marcel going off injured early on. That's always going to be disruptive.
Yeah.
But as much as Manchester City have been very, very good, I still feel it remains size challenge on De Bruyne. He didn't need to do it, and that's a big moment in games like this. And then that gives them their lift. Obviously, there were other glimpses. big chance. The goal was well worked from a Man City point of view. Again, the second goal with Foden. Still, Patricio, I'm a massive fan of Patricio, but I feel he could have maybe stayed back there because it made Sterling miss him out. But I tell you what, the Patricio save just before half-time, that could prove to be key. The big save, because it's 3-0, game over. So half-time, we needed it, and that would be very interesting to see what Nuno will do. But I bet he'd love Diogo Jota to be able to come off the bench right now. He'd have loved that.
Matty, you've touched on it already. You said about, because obviously Man City play that possession game, that without having fans in there, they kind of have that intensity to their play anyway, and it better suits a team that does have more of the ball and like to, because they players have to create that intensity themselves anyway, don't they?
Yeah, I feel that they came back out of lockdown and they were exceptional. I think they were really, really good. And sometimes, especially in England, when teams play with a possession base and they bop it about, sometimes the English fans can get a little bit frustrated with that. But that's what Man City do. And you just saw it at the end there. It was like keep ball, wasn't it? Lending it. And you know what it's like, Looms. I mean, I've stood behind watching it. But when you're one of those players chasing, it's horrible. Nice. It's demoralising. And suddenly they break the lines, they up the tempo, and it's very difficult. So I'm not sure how Nuno will approach it, but somehow he needs to get more pressure, higher up the ball, higher up the pitch, locking on, because they're dictating it. And then, like Loom says, it's 2-0, okay? We've got back from those before. Next goal is massive. Could be a sending off, could be something like that. So we're in the game, and that's why I think the Patricio save is so big. But Wolves have to tweak it. And this is where Nuno, if he's going to evolve, and close that top six gap, and Wolves are going to keep, this is where, for me, Nuno will really earn his corn.
Let's go through some of those incidents then, and kind of, I guess, on the penalty, do you boys have any thoughts on that? I mean, from some of the replays that we kind of saw, Saiss has given him the opportunity, hasn't he? But the question mark, I guess, is that some fans might look at that and go, well, has De Bruyne just kind of left his legs there for Saiss?
Penalty kick, Mikey. It's a penalty kick.
Yeah, it's penalty.
So if you look at what Conor Cody done a little bit earlier with Sterling, he did go, but he actually pulled his foot back. If Conor Cody's foot is another 2 inches forward, it's probably a penalty kick, because for the player committing himself to the floor, it doesn't the momentum of De Bruyne there with Saiss, it's always going to be contact, and if there's contact, it's penalty. What I don't understand is, because Saiss has got the pace, he's went with them all the way, he doesn't need to slide. All De Bruyne can do there is either stop the ball, look head up, or cross it first time. So, and then he's done his job. By going to floor, it was just a difficult one. And he must have genuinely felt that he could have made contact with the ball, but De Bruyne was too quick there.
You've got to be 100%.
I'm a massive Saiss fan.
Yeah, you've got to be.
Say again, Tom?
Yeah, you've got to be 100% if you're going to ground in the penalty area. And I just think that there's no need for you just saying there, Looms, about him. He's tracked him, he's gone with him. And I just think that sometimes you just got to go with it. You just got to try and put a block on it. Don't go to ground, because you've made his mind up what he's going to do. He's a clever player, and say, look, and he's a great player. And once you go to ground, that's it. So
is that just a symptom, though? Because, Matty, you mentioned Patricio kind of racing out for the second goal, and we've seen a couple of times from players where kind of their decision-making has just not quite been at the level that we've come to expect from them.
Yeah, I think all of the guys would agree that usually a pre-season is how you get up to speed and get making those decisions. And look, Manchester City haven't had it. They've had a little bit more time maybe on the training ground because of the slight delay. But I feel that, against Sheffield United, we came out the traps quickly. We looked really, really bang on, made some good decisions and showed the character at the end. But this time I feel we've started slowly. Manchester City have been dominant. But, I agree that with the Sterling one, never a penalty, correct decision. And Conor Cody, in a more dangerous position, was working his feet. Whereas Saiss is right on the edge of the box. He's going there. He's done the job. And, it's a poor decision. But I think, look, we'll give it to Romain Saiss. He's a top player. He was brilliant against Sheffield United. Yeah. He's got to learn from it. Maybe his teammates will dig him out. But I feel there's going to be a good few players that still take a week or two to really get up to speed, because there's nothing like matches to get fully sharp with decision-making, your fitness and everything else.
Yeah, I was just saying to Mikey earlier that they've got to work harder as a team to close down. If they're going to close down, they've got to be in the face a little bit more. So they're a yard and a half away from Man City, and they're just zipping the ball away. Look, they're a great side. They can pass the ball for fun. But if you're going to try and win it back, or you're going to press the game, you've got to go as a team. you've got to go as one unit to try and stop them from playing. And at the minute, they're nearly getting there, and then they're just passing them by. And that's the problem what they've got. You say, see, with a string of players, they've got to go as a team for me. And I think that's the biggest problem what they've had, that they've just got picked off.
Well, Matty said, didn't he? Matty said he's been involved in matches. We've all been involved in these matches when you're a goal down, 2 goals down, and they're just bopping it in front of you. But what I haven't seen is just someone just going, you know what? Have a bit of that. You know, it's part and parcel of the game, and you just think, you know what, you're not having it all your own way. And what that does, just that challenge, it gets the players on the front foot a little bit. Yeah, get a little bit tighter, because at the minute they are completely dominant. They're having it their own way. They're playing at their tempo, and then when we get it, because we're chasing it for so long, then all of a sudden we've got to be able to slow it down, get a couple of little passes in, and try and get that composure in our play.
Bring Deng Donker on, maybe?
100%. 100%. I was thinking that,
I just said, Mike, they'll change them off formation and go with the 3 in the middle. And
I think that, just to get closer to them. I totally agree, Tom. I think if they bring Deng Donker on, and that's what Nuno's done. There's been so many times that Wolves are used to chasing a game. They did, and that's what impressed me about Sheffield United. They went ahead, but there's been a lot of times when Wolves have chased a game. They'll take the heart from last season. I know it was against 10 men. There's belief. So even if Wolves can come out of a point, or just try and win the second half anyway. Come out of it respectfully. Can't go too gung-ho and get totally picked off. But I think bring Den Donker on, go, that 3-5-2 if you like, and let's see if we can get closer to them. And because at the moment, Man City are totally dominant in every department.
How difficult does it make it, the fact that they had to make that change early on, which means that, they've already used up one of their substitutes now. So if Nuno is sat in there thinking, well, I might try and get Traore further forwards, that means he's only got one other change left to make. So is he going to have to really think carefully now about what changes he does make to try and get them back into it? Or do you look at it and go, well, they're 2-0 down, we may as well make the changes, because if we don't, we haven't got a chance?
Well, I think Nuno thinks like that. You've got to get something out of the match, so you have to take the risk. Obviously, losing Martial, I think Vinagre came on, and then within about 4 or 5 minutes of Vinagre coming on, I thought he had a great opportunity to put Podence through, on the halfway line, but he stopped. He pulled out of the pass, where I think Podence would have had the better of his opponent. But this is part and parcel of it, Mikey. I don't think Nuno will be thinking, oh no, what, you're 2-0 down. He'll do whatever it takes to go and get something out of this match. But the players will be doing that. They're putting the demands on each other at half-time as well. I do see Dendoncker coming on, because I just feel he's a little bit more physical. He's a little bit more disciplined, but he can put that foot in as well. And that's what the game needs. At the minute, Matty's just said there that they're completely dominant. And Man City are a good team, but if you sit off them, they've got the quality that they can just hurt you, and they are just going to create chances. It's going to be wave after wave, and it's like even there. I think there was a time when Conor Cody came out and he's trying to play it to Traore, but Traore's behind. He's not created an angle. And it's just little moments like that. It was a great interception from Cody as well. The ball that was up to Jesus, and he's got good possession of the ball, but where usually we'd play out with quality. So if you're looking at Neto and Podence, you think they've got to kind of drop a little bit deeper now. Yeah, it leaves Jimenez a little bit isolated, but then when we're in good possession, then can we go up and support? But at the minute, we're just sitting off them all over the place. And even if you're not sitting off them, they can play through it. So they're causing all sorts of problems.
Well, we're just looking at the teams just come out, and there's no substitution at the moment. No change.
Well, hopefully there is going to be a better performance from Wolves in this second half. Matt Murray, Chris Iwelumo, thank you very much indeed. More from you to come.
Cheers.
On the final whistle. Of course, more from me and Tomo, and hopefully much more from Wolves. Don't go anywhere. Second half is next.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group.
So we are back here, ready and waiting, and just about to get started again for the second half. We say hopefully a much improved second half performance from Wolverhampton Wanderers, who came from 2-0 down to beat Manchester City here last season. We need that kind of spirit again. 45 minutes to rescue something from the first home game of the new season. No changes from either side. So Patricio in goal, now in front of the North Bank, the stand colour stand. Bolly, Cody, Saiz, Traore and Vinagre, the wing-backs, after Marçal went off injured early. Neves and Matinho in midfield. Neto, Jimenez, Podence. And here is João Matinho for Willy Bolly. That's the right side to Traore. On halfway. Fernandinho with the foot in. Will come for De Bruyne, trying to play it early up towards Phil Foden. Foden into the penalty area, right on the edge of the box. Will tee it up for De Bruyne onto his left foot. Further over to Rodri. Mendy back to Rodri, and City will work it back. They have Ederson in goal. Walker, Stones, Ake, Mendy. Rodri, Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Foden, Sterling, and Gabriel Jesus. And Sterling looked offside there in that build-up as he tries to play it on for Mendy. Traore back in front of him, and Traore seeing it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, and again, I said, like you just saw Traore there. Just take care of the ball. Just keep the ball. If nothing else is on, go and have a run with the ball. So he hasn't really done it in this game. He needs to go and have a little run at Mendy. You've seen a couple of times that he's tried to cause him a problem. And I think he definitely had the fear factor if he has got the ball and keeps running at him.
Well, Mendy and Traore went flying into the electronic advertising hoardings, and they'll need fixing. Patricio will look to launch it forwards. It's going to bounce off Sterling for a Wolves throw. Pep Guardiola playing ball boy. Traore throwing forwards to Jimenez. Barely seen him involved in the game, but that was better from him as he switched it from Saiz, who miscontrolled it, and that allowed Kyle Walker to pounce, and Walker driving forwards, and Saiz tempted to try and get a touch onto it, and eventually he did play it off the England man and behind for a goal kick.
See, that's better play from him. You could see him a couple of times. He was tempted to get the challenge in, but he waited, and then at the right time just got that challenge in and was able to hit it off Walker. But that's what they've got to do. But again, so good play by Jimenez. So like good hold-up play. And that's what we need a little bit more of him.
Patricio's kick forwards. Mendy will let it go out of play for a Manchester City throw. At Mikey Burrows on Twitter, use the hashtag Wolves Live if you want to let us know where you are and your thoughts on the game. David Allen's watching from Colombia. Sets up the Wolves. David Roll has been enjoying a bit of apple pie. There's Kevin De Bruyne forwards. A little deflection will take it through to Rui Patricio. David Roll works on ambulances in America. One of our many international listeners. For an international team.
Yeah.
Jimenez trying to go past Mendy. Went down a bit easily.
Just knocked it a little bit too far, didn't he? To get anything at the referee.
Andre Mariner wasn't interested.
No.
Fernandinho. Back to Walker. Switching crossfield for Ake. De Bruyne has dropped back in deep. Infield to Rodri. Again, Wolves just seemingly standing off and allowing Manchester City to play it around at will. Walker over the halfway line. Back to Fernandinho. Rodri. Fernandinho again. Halfway. Out to Foden. Back to Walker. Fernandinho just inside his own half. Midway between the touchline and centre circle. Jimenez put good pressure on Stones that time. Fernandinho's clearance.
Well, that's what they've got to do. Got to get touch tight with them, get something on it. And that's where you win the ball back, as they have done.
Bolly to Traore. Traore on the outside of Mendy, left him for dead. Rodri trying to get back and help out, and Traore's gone round him as well. Traore now trying to lift his cross in, but it's a comfortable take for Ederson. Jimenez had pulled to the far post, and that ball wasn't likely to reach him.
No, but initially some great play from him. That's what we want to see. That's probably his best run that he's had tonight, causing them problems. Bit unfortunate that he just couldn't pick out the correct delivery. But at least that's a little bit more promising from him.
5 minutes gone at the start of the second half. Wolves 0, Manchester City 2. On Wolves TV, Matchday Live Extra. Carl Walker flicking it forward. Saiss intercepting on halfway. First time ball on for Podence, who took it nicely with his first touch, but ran it out of play in the end. Walker's throw in. It's it back from Rodri. Foden. Infield to Rodri. Back to his goalkeeper. Ederson inside the 6-yard box. Wide for Mendy. Pressure on from Neto, who got a toe to the ball. And in the end, Wolves get themselves a throw by the corner flag, and that's a lot better.
Yeah, it is. And that's what we spoke about at half time, wasn't it? Getting touch tight with them. Can you get the ball off them? And that's what they did. They pressed better on that one, where they're not just getting them the ball's going. He actually snapping at him as soon as the ball was at him. And that's what he needs to do. So that was a lot better.
Traore with the throw. We'll go backwards towards Bolly. And Bolly all the way back into his own half to Cody. City pushing up high as Cody gets it into the feet of Neves. On the turn to Moutinho. Closed down by Rodri. For Saiss, who nearly lost it to Foden. Not the best of balls to him. Did well to recover in the end. Neves for Neto. Traore. Turning back in field to Bolly. Under pressure from De Bruyne. Bolly on the turn. Now finding Traore again. In towards the feet of Neto. First time to the right side to Jimenez. Back in field to Traore. Traore trying to spin his man, but Fernandinho got him. And De Bruyne on early for Gabriel Jesus. Jesus onto his left foot. Striking goalwards, but straight at the waiting Rui Patricio, who gathered it up gratefully.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Traore here. He's looking at the manager. I don't know if the manager's had a go at him. Not happy about his selection of pass.
Well, it's because he tried to spin, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rather than just play the ball.
Yeah.
Neves almost caught by Fernandinho. Saiss finding Bolly deep inside the Wolves half. Well, and then Bolly's pass between Neves and Neto, and they both left it for each other. Here comes De Bruyne. Forwards again, just stopped by Bolly initially, who got a toe to the ball, and it will be a Manchester City throw. 53 minutes played.
Yeah, so Traore's just got to get on with the game. He's still moaning about that decision where he has done that little twist. He's only just got back into the right back position. He's got to work harder.
Neto with a foot in, another throw. Mendy throwing in towards Jesus. Cody got a toe to it. Volley to Neves, who lifted it back for Saiss. Trying to lift it wide for Vinagre. Up towards the halfway line. Fed forwards, but interception by Stones. Bit more pressure from Neto. Better football for Wolves. Bolly found Neto over the halfway line. Traore coming up in support on the outside right. Neto making the run ahead of him. Traore won't need him as he goes forwards in towards the penalty area. Infield to Podence on the turn. Oh, what a good effort. Just wide. Hit the stanchion towards the side of the goal, holding up the netting. Some of the Wolves bench down in front of us thought that it had gone in.
Well, I did. I thought it was in.
What an effort in the end. That's much better football from Wolves.
Well, at least,
that's given them a little bit of hope.
Yeah, at least they're making Man City think about things. They're starting to put a little bit of pressure on them, starting to have a little bit more success. That's come from working hard and that sharp passing, what they just got out from the back.
Woke up one or two in the press box as well, who drifted off as the way the game had been going.
Well, I thought it was in. I thought it was in at the when it bounced straight back. I thought it gone straight into the top corner.
Saiss trying to challenge. Foden came away with the ball. Mendy over the halfway line down the Man City left. Infield to De Bruyne. To Mendy. Infield to Foden. To Rodri. Moutinho snapping away at him. They play on. Fernandinho. Out to Walker on the right-hand side. Back infield to Fernandinho. Now to Foden. Rodri. Neves going to close him down. Wide to Walker. Back to Fernandinho. Infield to Rodri. Now trying to slide in behind. Vinagre read it though. Won it back and then gave the ball to Moutinho in an awkward area. Had to give it to Saiss, and his clearance easily won back by Manchester City. And it's just another example of where Wolves are making passes they don't need to make.
Well, they're getting each other in trouble, aren't they? So that's the thing.
Saïd, it's Traore trying to run over the halfway line. Neves, wide for Neto. He'd go inside the half, up against Mendy, trying to go past him on the outside and use his pace, and he's quick as well. It's pulled back, Podence's left it. It's Neves to strike it left-footed and cleared away by the foot of the post by Kyle Walker. Vinagre now driving forwards, attempted low cross, deflected behind for a corner, and suddenly it's taken 56 minutes. Wolves are suddenly woken up and are in the game.
Yeah, I know he's left the ball for Neves. Do you think Podence should have hit it? I thought Neto's done brilliant. He's picked out the pass. I just thought Podence should have shot. There. I'm just watching the replay.
Left it for Neves on Neves' weaker foot. Ederson might have still been struggling. I think it might have taken a slight deflection.
Yeah.
He went through as well, but it would have been on Podence's stronger foot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought Podence was going to be the one who was going to strike it there.
Wolves corner. Neto, left-footed from the left-hand side. Doesn't beat the first man. De Bruyne heading it away. Vinagre first to the loose ball. There's Cody. Trying a diagonal that's going to go all the way through for a goal kick. Auntie P feeling frustrated on the Shifnal sofa. James in Marseille missed most of the first half. Lucky you, James. Hoping the boys have been saving their best for a second half surge. Andy Johns says 1,877%, 1877% optimistic we can get a couple of goals back, sending good vibes to Wolves from Amsterdam. Richard listening from South Africa, not impressed with Wolves tonight so far. Rob in Calgary hoping for something special. Looking a bit flat. Would like to see us put a bit of pressure on the ball, says Rob. You are not alone in that. Here's Rodri up towards halfway. As we start to see a little bit more of what we expect from this Wolves team in the last couple of minutes.
Well, they've started to ask Man City a few more questions, haven't they?
There's Saiss winning it back again, and Neves with an early one, just couldn't quite find Neto. The long diagonal. De Bruyne. Look at the big gap between the Jimenez and everybody else now, though. It's no wonder he's seen very little of it tonight.
But the thing is, though, he gets isolated when the ball does go up to him. He's battling with the two centre halves and saying, look, it's at the moment they found it pretty easy to win that ball back. But because there's a lot of pressure that Man City are putting on the close.
Here's Mendy, interception by Bolly, stretching out his left leg. Jimenez for Moutinho, early for Podence, who's beaten the offside trap. Daniel Podence has lifted it over the goalkeeper and onto the roof of the net. Another glorious opportunity. He tried to be cheeky. Daniel Podence racing through. Couldn't quite get enough on it to make it dip underneath that crossbar and get Wolves back into the game. But Wolves are suddenly starting to create more and more against Manchester City.
Yeah. That was better from him, wasn't it? Just lacked the finish.
Well, Daniel Podence, who has only got one goal so far in his Wolves career. This is his 14th appearance tonight. He's had a couple of good opportunities, but hasn't hit the target with them.
No. And I still think he should have had that one with the pullback from Neto.
Here is Podence.
Which is looking a little bit more promising, isn't it? They're just going to make sure they don't give it that third goal away. But they have caused a problem.
Neves stepping over it to leave it for Neto. Back to Neves. Wide to Traore. Traore looking to run at Mendy. Trying to go past him on the outside. Low cross in. Jimenez goalwards and wide. Left-footed. 8 yards out. Tried just to slide it towards the far corner. Where has this Wolves team been for 50 minutes?
Well, I said in the
They
first
could
half.
have had 3 in the last 10.
They could have. Well, I said in that first half about are they going to be able to sustain that pace, what they set with closing down, the pace that they set with the ball. And at the minute, Wolves are finding a little bit more space.
Well, so often last season, Wolves would come strong in the second half. They conceded so many times. Conceded first in 21 of 38 Premier League games last year. Conceded first in 1 of 2 this year. Neves. Wide for Neto. Traore under pressure from Sterling. Trying to roll his man in field. Oh, he's put it through the legs of Jesus. Jimenez trying to hold off Mendy. Now trying to throw it in behind. Podence made an excellent run. Daniel Podence into the penalty area. Walker got across in front of him and made sure that Ederson could dive onto the loose ball.
Yeah, it's a great pass from Jimenez.
Podence's pressure. Too much pressure on Fernandinho. Free kick given against him, but
yeah, just on his touch there, his control on his chest. He just kind of skidded on his chest to his left-hand side, which gave Walker the opportunity just to shield the ball back to Ederson.
Well, they're still losing the possession stats, Wolves, but they're up to 42% in the second half.
And they've had some good chances, though, in this second half. That's the difference.
Well, they've had 4 efforts, but none of them have been on target.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yeah. There you go. We're starting to press it a little bit better now, aren't we?
But at this stage, people always talk about 2-0 score lines.
Yeah.
Momentum is with Wolves. They have to keep it. There's De Bruyne trying to run away from Neves. Across came Cody. Read the danger superbly well. Now looking for an option. Gives it to Traore. Traore holding off Sterling and Rodri. De Bruyne has kept that ball in on the touchline and threading it on to Gabriel Jesus. Patricio started to come and he went right to the edge of his penalty area. Comes back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne up against Bolly. Left-footed ball to the edge of the box to Kyle Walker to strike it. Blocked by Martinho, who tries to lift it for Podence. Fernandinho there to get across in front of him. There comes Fernandinho racing out to the right-hand side. Saiss. Well, Fernandinho stolen it from him. Fernandinho into the penalty area, lifts it high over the top and behind for a goal kick.
Yes. A few errors out there. Salah just getting the ball away, just rode his luck a little bit. Just watching the replay. A bit angry with himself.
Yeah, Fernandinho clearly thought he should have done better.
Yeah.
Having got away from first Vinagre and then from Saiss, who he left on the floor. And then it was a long way high and wide. Patricio trying to get on with things. Up towards Jimenez on halfway, over the top of him. Mendy's header. Traore forwards. Rodri heading it back into the Wolves half. Bolly nodding forwards. Neto down to Jimenez. Back to Neves. Infield to Martinho. To Cody. Middle of the half. Or Cody passing it straight to Sterling. Neves with a foot in. De Bruyne's flick on. Gets it back from Jesus. And all the way back to Nathan Ake. And maybe just the steam. And it's just coming out of Wolves a little bit, having built up an opportunity to try and press and put City under some pressure. The former champions have just settled back into a rhythm. Wolves need to go through the gears again.
Yeah, but they look sharper in the second half, haven't the Wolves? That's been the difference. They've closed it down. They put a little bit more pressure on Man City.
Jimenez attempting one of his massive crossfield half volleys. Traore nodding it infield to Bolly. Will turn away from De Bruyne and then try and play an excellent ball over the top for the run of Neto, who's drawn Nathan Ake out there with him. Neto into the penalty area, cutting infield on his left foot. Little back heel for Ruben Neves, and Neves' cross is blocked off by Ake. Sterling back to help out. Neto with a foot in. That'll be a goal kick.
At least that's better. They're putting pressure on them. They're not so easy getting out from the back there.
Well, say it's interesting that Willie Bolly off his left foot played that ball over the top for Neto. Yeah.
Yeah, he's quality though, isn't he? So he's quality with the ball. You're just seeing here now, we're trying to squeeze them up. We've just got to be careful we don't let him out here. If he's going to play it.
He plays it wide to Kyle Walker, Edison. Matinho going to try and close down, and the ball infield to Fernandinho. No one had gone to help Matinho.
See, that's the one that you can't let him do. You've got to squeeze that if you're going to do it.
Mendy over the halfway line down the left-hand side, cutting in field. Support from Rodri. Into Fernandinho in the centre circle. To De Bruyne, who's popped up on the inside right. Walker on the overlap, back to De Bruyne. Infield to Fernandinho for Rodri. Wide again to Kevin De Bruyne. Such an incredible footballer.
Yeah. Just watching him live here, so it makes it look so easy. Just strolls around, doesn't he?
Stones ball down the line, out of play. There'll be a Wolves throw that Vinagre will take. Pedence short, Jimenez down the line. Jimenez flicked it in field. Pedence couldn't get there ahead of Rodri though. De Bruyne switching the play for Mendy. Played 66.5 minutes. No sign of any more changes from Wolves at the minute. There's Gabriel Jesus. Foden making the run. Ball bounced off him and through to Rui Patricio.
Yeah, just had enough bodies in there, didn't we, just to get something on it.
Vitinha, Dendoncker and Oscar Burr are the three warming up at the minute. Here's Traore. Trying to lift it forwards for Pedence. Header away by Stones. De Bruyne. Blocked off by Traore. Matinho was there to help out. To go backwards to Cody. Good first time ball to Pedence, but he was trying to set it back for Neves, and you can see Nuno's frustration. As Cody steps in and wins it back again. Jimenez miscontrolling it. Wolves just got to take better care.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You just nail on the head there, a bit of care. I've had a couple of times and just a little ball set. Just give away, and it's just broke down for them. But look, this Man City side is a very good side. The favourites for the Premier League, and you can see why. So look, they look sharp in all departments.
De Bruyne on for Sterling, left-hand side of the penalty area. Sterling cutting back infield on his right foot to Foden. Good tackle by Romain Saiz, who tracked him all the way across the penalty area. Here's Neto. Infield to Matinho has just given that straight to Sterling in an awful position. De Bruyne, Walker, Rodri. He had a look as well, Matinho. I don't know why he needed to go backwards there. De Bruyne, Foden. Sterling, I think, thought that he might have been offside and wanted the ball wide for Mendy instead, and it went through to Rui Patricio.
Yeah, so he thinks that he might have been offside, so he's just walking back.
Traore will get a free kick for a challenge from Fernandinho. A little bit fortunate, maybe. Hello to Haley, watching the game while listening to us. Come on, lads. There's Neves over halfway.
Well, we've got 22 minutes left, haven't they? Something to say, just get that one goal, just to give them a little bit of belief in what they can do. They've had a bit of success in this second half.
Traore back to Bolly for Matinho. That's a Willy Bolly again for Cody. Across to Saiz, 20 yards inside his own half, looking to knock it early up towards Neto. I think misjudged it and ended up just flicking it on all the way through to Edison. Well, still we wait to see if there's going to be more changes. Rui Pedro Silva, Nuno's assistant, is out alongside him. Conversation they'll be having now will be about what do we do? How do we get back into this? Oh, Bolly, what a good clearance. Sterling, Foden, Gabriel Jesus is going to be offside. He's going to put the ball into the back of the net, but the offside flag will go up.
Yeah, it's clear offside, wasn't it?
It was a long way off.
Yeah, it's clear offside.
I'll just wait for VAR to absolutely confirm it.
There you go. I think there was much thought process behind that, was there?
Don't need to draw the lines on that one. Could see that from here. Give me the flag. There's Traore over the halfway line. Infield away from Fernandinho. Now trying to switch the play out to Vinagre. That's a lovely ball. Vinagre under control up against Walker, who wants him to go inside, but Vinagre will go on the outside towards the byline and then tried to stop and didn't deliver the ball. And City were able to get the numbers back. Jesus, De Bruyne to Sterling. Over the halfway line, just to the left of the centre circle. Backwards to Mendy. Am I right there, Tomo, in that position? Vinagre, once he's got on the outside, just get it in there.
Well, things though, if he hits it, it's out for a corner. Once you start to check it back, it just makes it a lot easier for the Walker there just to get some kind of block on it. But he's pushed the ball past him. He's quick. What's Walker going to get? A toe onto the ball to go out for a corner? So it rebounds across the penalty area. As soon as he checks back, it makes it easy for the defender then. Just put it in there.
Approaching 72 minutes, and Fabio Silva and Leander Dendoncker have been called back. So we might be seeing a double change in the second and third and final changes that Wolves have. So this is it. Last throws of the dice. Coutinho, Vinagre, infield to Podence. Now Neves. Out to the right-hand side to Traore. Wolves trying to get numbers forwards. City getting numbers to try and block Adama Traore, who puts a good cross in there. It's headed away, though, only as far as Ruben Neves, 30 yards from goal on the right-hand side. Back to Bolly, into the centre circle for Saiss, who will look towards the Wolves' left. Little ball in towards Jimenez, who tried to turn John Stones, but Stones read it well. Weird crossfield ball by Gabriel Jesus that Traore intercepted. Here's Neto over the halfway line.
Well, it's a rarity to get the ball away, isn't it? That's the thing.
There's Coutinho to Bolly. There's Connor Cody midway inside his own half, under pressure from Foden. Oh, a lovely ball by Cody over halfway to Neto. Neto on the turn, looking to drive forwards. Podence was to his left, to his right, and he had Jimenez to his left. He tried to strike it. It hit Nathan Ake. Look at the speed of Kyle Walker to race out and save the corner and clear it over the halfway line. There's desire for you.
Yeah. So they've got plenty of that. But again, great run by Neto, but great ball from Connor Cody into him.
Gabriel Jesus over the halfway line to his right-hand side to Foden. Foden with support coming from Rodri. Now De Bruyne for Mendy. Man City slowing the pace down. Mendy back to Ake just inside his own half. Just about 74 minutes played. Still Wolves 0, Man City 2. Stones for Walker. Here comes Rodri over the halfway line, away from Coutinho's challenge. Walker for Fernandinho. Lifted out to the left-hand side to Mendy, who's got a lot of space just over the halfway line. Back in field to Fernandinho. This is where Matt Murray and Chris Iwelumo were talking at half-time. Just somebody go and kick someone.
Yeah, just go after it. Go hunting for the ball.
Walker back into his own half to Rodri.
Because I tell you what, as a player, it makes your blood boil a little bit when they start to just keep passing it around and we can't lay a glove on them.
De Bruyne. Back to Foden. Back into his own half to Stones. Well, there's only a quarter of an hour to go. Man City might just play it around themselves here unless Wolves have got to do something. Ederson Foden's come short.
See, they got that. He's too far off him. Too far off him. He's able to turn and just play that ball inside. And again, they're out.
Foden lifting it forwards. De Bruyne on the inside right. On again for the run of Gabriel Jesus. Saï stepped across him.
Better defending from him. Trapped the runner. Just edged him out. Good play.
Patricio with a good throw out to the left-hand side for Vinagre. Back to Martinho. Pedence to Neves. To Traore over the halfway line. Wide for Neto. Back in field to Neves on halfway. To Cody. Cody to Neves. To Bolly. To Cody. We're seeing more of the ball, but they're going backwards. It goes to Patricio.
Conor Cody was just looking for that ball forward, wasn't he? Just looking for somebody just to pull off a little bit.
Ake climbed highest over Neto. Neves' ball forwards. Jimenez trying to turn away from Stones. Back in field to Neves. Out to the right-hand side to Adama Traore. Traore up against Mendy. Trying to go to the byline. Attempted cross. Deflected behind for a corner.
And that's that situation there, what Traore has just done. That Vinagre should have done with Walker. So that's what. Just get down the touchline. What they're going to do, just get a block on it. It looks like the change is going to come now.
Well, Leandro Dendoncker waiting. And it's João Moutinho who will come off. Dendoncker is on.
Neto.
And it's Neto who comes off for a Premier League debut for Fabio Silva. What impact can he make? Pedence's corner, right-footed from the right-hand side. Doesn't beat the first man. Headed away by Fernandinho. Traore for Pedence on the right-hand touchline through the legs of Kevin De Bruyne. Daniel Pedence now lifting into the penalty area. Oh, what a header by Jimenez. And Wolves are back into the game. And maybe, just maybe, they've given themselves real hope for a barnstorming finish. Wolves 1, Manchester City 2. Raúl Jimenez's second Premier League goal of the season in just his second game.
There you go, a bit of quality from Pedence, wasn't it? Megs De Bruyne. Great little ball in as well. Good header. Yeah, it's great play. A bit of quality, isn't it? At the cheek of it as well. Now this is where they've got to make sure that they don't throw it away, where they've got themselves back into it. You've got 12 minutes left. Don't give away another goal. Can we get that equaliser?
Bolly up against Sterling. Well, it looked like just good strength there from Willy Bolly, but Andre Mariner didn't agree. City get on with it quickly. Neves snapping away at Sterling, but Sterling still with the ball. Put in by Dendoncker again. Andre Mariner didn't like it.
Yeah, I just think there was just strength there.
So from those changes, Dendoncker in midfield with Neves. Fabio Silva, not entirely sure where he's playing. Jimenez going back to defend. The difference in colour of the shirts of those who've been playing and Fabio Silva's drenched in sweat.
I was going to say a little bit darker, aren't they, the ones who've been on?
De Bruyne's free kick, he's gone for goal himself from a long way out, and Patricio able to get across and claim it.
Yeah, he didn't catch it as well as he wanted, did he? You could see what he was trying to do. Catch Patricio just off his line a little bit too far out.
Cody for Traore, too much on it. Traore couldn't collect. Man City throw in front of Pep Guardiola's technical area. About 11 minutes plus time to be added on. We wouldn't rule it out.
Well, look, we've done it before against them, haven't we? Where we've come back.
Walker. Pedence has gone down here, holding his face and screaming in pain. Foden for Walker. Back to Foden. Still Podence down, and Fernandinho is going to stop the play and kick it out so Podence can get a bit of treatment.
I'll just have a look at the replay of that.
In the meantime, Ferran Torres is being prepared for his Premier League debut. Podence unhappy. Hasn't had any treatment just yet. Andre Mariner's gone over to have a word with him, and now we'll call on the physio.
No,
just seeing the replay. I'm not sure Kyle Walker made that much connection. And if he did, I'm not sure it was with his face there.
Yeah. Like more his neck or his chin, wasn't he?
Substitution for Manchester City.
It's Raheem Sterling who comes off.
Ferran Torres.
Ferran Torres is on.
Well, Sterling's gone right up into the stand. He's not happy with his manager bringing him off.
Well, Wolves have 8.5 minutes to get back into the game. Podence is still getting treatment. I think they're going through all the protocols that they would normally go through. Well, it's a head injury. Got to believe, haven't they?
Well, a bit of quality's got on the goal, hasn't it? To make it 2-1. And they're threatened on a few occasions in this second half where just lacking that just final thing or final shot. But for me, say, totally different second half. At least they've been in touch with Man City a little bit more. They have looked comfortable at times, but at least they've put pressure on them. They've got themselves the goal. They've had 3 or 4 efforts that they could have scored from.
Let me tell you, our producer Yanni, who does a great job on this and heads up our video department, has just popped into our WhatsApp group a little cheeky video of our cameraman at pitchside with the nutmeg by Podence on De Bruyne. And I tell you, if Wolves get anything out of this game, that will be across our social media channels a lot tomorrow.
And rightfully so, mate. Rightfully so. The cheek of it on De Bruyne.
Here's Bolly trying to lift it forwards. Fabio Silva giving chase. Stones under pressure. Back to his keeper. And it was an awkward one. And Ederson's ball has gone high in the air. Jimenez let it bounce. And it's going to go out of play for a Manchester City throw. Rodri was back there across in front of him.
Yeah, so look, I think Jimenez is trying to say that he's got pulled over, but I don't think there's much in it.
Is there a way back into this? Is there to be late drama again?
Why not? Just believing that you can. Get themselves back into it. And give yourself an opportunity with that goal.
Traore's throw. Mendy there ahead of Fabio Silva. Neves back to Saiz. Out to Vinagre on the left-hand side. Vinagre with a couple of step-overs against Kyle Walker. Walker with a foot in. It's going to go behind for a goal kick. Wolves' equalising goal last year came off 82 minutes. We're on 84 now, and Matt Doherty's winner was 89.
At the moment, I'd take a point after the...
Oh, would you?
After that first half.
That's generous of you, Tom.
Oh, I would, yeah. After that first half, I would. Don't carry it away with the winner, mate. I'll just take a point.
Oh, you'll just take a point, will you? Oh, that's good.
Generous as the cup.
Yeah. It was just the way you said it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I mean, at the minute, I'll take a point. He says 2-1 down with 5.5 minutes to go.
It's not over. It's not over.
Well, they have produced special moments time and time again. It's a new season. Is it to be that same incredible Wolves spirit?
Well, can they produce one more bit of quality in the time that's left? to give them that chance to get themselves back into it.
Edison looking to launch it downfield. Header won by Vinagre, but out of play for a Manchester City throw. Less than 5 minutes to play, plus time to be added on. Man City in no rush whatsoever. Walker's throw. Gabriel Jesus. Trying to play it back to Fernandinho. Foot in by Saiz. Here's Jimenez on the turn over the halfway line, and Saiz had made a run up with him, and Rodri just held on to him. And Rodri will get a yellow card.
No, for the foul. If he didn't get it for that, he got it for kicking the ball away. Yeah, sending Bolly up now.
Neves to take the free kick. Neves lifting it in towards Bolly, who got his head to it, looping, but not quite looping enough.
Yeah, just a bit too much on it, wasn't it? It's a little whip crossing by Neves.
Wolves 1, Manchester City 2. 86.5 minutes have been played. Is there to be a little bit of late drama? The turnaround of all turnarounds. Big long kick forwards. Bolly's headed back to halfway. Rodri's touch went straight to Traore, who spins away from him, trying to keep his footing, and ends up presenting it to Gabriel Jesus, who nutmegs Dendoncker. It's 2 Belgians been nutmegged in the game. Wolves get themselves a free kick inside their own half.
That'll be a drop ball from the referee when it hit the referee on the backside, I think. Trying to pick out Jimenez down this right-hand side.
De Bruyne has stayed down inside the Wolves half from a change that came in from Willy Bolly.
Yeah, so I don't think there's much in that. He held in his ankle, probably caught it a little bit, but he had contact with the ball.
2.5 minutes to play. Referee drops it for Cody. Cody looking to knock it wide for Traore. Control on the chest, hooked over his head. Mendy caught him. Wolves free kick on the right-hand touchline, just past the midway point of the half, and an opportunity to send Saiz and Bolly forwards. Final 2 minutes of the 90.
Yeah, can they produce? That's going to be the one. And Neves put in that quality ball.
Andre Mariner telling Neves to go further wide, and Neves put the ball down off the pitch and looked at Andre Mariner as if to say, how wide do you want me to go? Here is Neves' free kick. Whipping in towards an near post. Dendoncker trying to help it on its way. It will be a corner.
Good ball in.
90 seconds left.
Yeah, again, opportunity to put the ball into the area.
Can they do this? Can they produce again? So many other teams would have been dead and buried. And this Wolves team has shown heart and desire. Penence's corner, right-footed from the left-hand side, coming through the penalty area. Didn't quite reach Fabio Silva, and Kyle Walker is setting off at speed. Neves stopped him in his tracks. Big high ball forwards, awkward to deal with for Vinagre. De Bruyne to the loose ball, played it off Vinagre for a Manchester City throw. 30 seconds of the 90 remaining.
Yeah, that was opportunity, wasn't it? Just couldn't get anybody on the end of it, unfortunately. But you can have injury time as well. Probably 3 or 4 minutes running, I think.
Well, we'd hope so. Sterling, not Sterling, Gabriel Jesus. Sterling had gone off, and frustratedly to have a disagreement with Pep Guardiola as he did so.
Well, I
There's
think
De
Guardiola
Bruyne.
come to shake his hand and he walked straight past him, basically.
Pointed to the corner flag. 4 minutes
4 minutes.
to be added on.
There will be a minimum of 4 minutes added time. 4
It's
minutes.
Manchester City corner. De Bruyne played it off Cody. He's got Gabriel Jesus short and he just plays it to him. And I guess a sign of respect that Man City are just holding it up there now, trying to eat up the seconds. The Wolves have won the throw by the corner flag. Do they have enough to get downfield and create one more opportunity to snatch a point? Throw into Cody inside his own 6-yard box. And to knock it early up to Traore. Mendy at his back. Bounces off the thigh of Adama Traore. And a Manchester City throw. Mendy with it. Thrown in towards Gabriel Jesus. Across came Cody. Trying to clear. Ball has gone out of play. It's another Man City throw.
It's got to be a Wolves ball.
Giving it as a Wolves ball now. Andre Mariner overruling his assistant.
Yeah, it's got to be a Wolves ball. Jesus come off, didn't it?
Guardiola calling his players forwards to try and keep Wolves penned in. Ball bouncing over Fabio Silva. Rodri's ball has gone backwards. Stones header forwards. Neves nodding down for Saiz to Cody. Trying to pick out Vinagre on the left-hand side. Approaching 2 minutes played of the 4 being added on. Neves turning and trying to pick out Traore, but Mendy won the header and it's going to drop to Gabriel Jesus. Wide for Ferran Torres. Trying to run away from Dendoncker. Heading towards the left-hand corner flag. Traore with a foot in, but only at the expense of a Man City throw.
Yeah, they're just running it down, aren't they? Just trying to get into the corners, take the time with everything. Mendy won't be in any rush to take this throw in.
Mendy with the throw. Make it about minute 40 remaining by my watch. There's Gabriel Jesus, lost out. Neves trying to lift it early. Ake, Fabio Silva challenging. Ball's gone high in the air. Mendy heading it forwards. Bolly to bring it down. Just trying to lift it to halfway. It'll be hoofed into the stand by Fernandinho. Nearly reached us in the top tier of the Billy Wright. Wolves have got a spare ball from pitch side. Approaching the final minute. Gabriel Jesus' header. Saiz to the loose ball on halfway. Caught in possession by De Bruyne. Saiz has stayed down. Man City play on. Gabriel Jesus to strike it. And good save by Patricio to tip it wide for a corner.
It was a good save. He hit it well, didn't he? Jesus. Good save. Oh, I don't think this will be going into the area. When they eventually get some kind of support out to him, I don't think he'll be in a rush.
Yeah, about 30 seconds left to play. Man City, De Bruyne walking towards the corner flag. Ferran Torres short, Gabriel Jesus short as well. It'll just be poked to Gabriel Jesus. Tries to blast it off Bolly, did so, but at the expense of a throw. And time is against Wolves here. Jesus from the throw. Dendoncker trying to get there. Bolly couldn't quite steal it. Jesus into the penalty area, striking, deflecting it in. Manchester City are going to take all 3 points. The killer punch right at the end. As much as Wolves were trying to win it back to go down to try and force an equaliser, Gabriel Jesus finds a way past Rui Patricio. And it's Wolves 1, Manchester City 3. And Wolves' first home game with the new campaign will be heading for defeat.
Yeah, it took a massive deflection, hasn't it? Just watching it again. Just couldn't get it clear, couldn't get hold of the ball. Yeah, it's come off Connor Cody. Patricio had no chance.
The finish deceived Rui Patricio.
Yeah, he had no chance of getting into it.
Wolves gave it a good go in the second half.
Yeah, they have. At least they've had a bit of a go in the second half.
They will question whether they gave themselves too much to do from what was a poor first half performance. No complaints about the second. They caused City some real problems. And that's it. The final whistle goes. Wolves beaten in their first home game of the new campaign by a Manchester City team, favourites to regain their Premier League title this season. They raced into a 2-0 lead. Could have been more in the first half. Wolves stepped it up in the second, put some pressure on, came close a couple of times, mainly through Daniel Podence. Eventually it was Podence getting it, nutmegging Kevin De Bruyne and crossing for Raul Jimenez, his second of the season, to give them some hope. They made changes and tried to push, but City showed their class, showed their experience, and then punished Wolves right at the death to restore their 2-goal advantage and take all 3 points. It finished Wolves 1, Manchester City 3.
Yeah, so at least it was a little bit of a little bit better in that second half, wasn't it? So at least they had a bit of a go, asked questions a little bit more of Man City, had a couple of opportunities, could have done better with them, got the goal, which gave them an opportunity to hopefully get back into it. But again, you saw the class from the first half of Man City, the way that they played, the in and out of possession. But like I say, that just shows you the benchmark, what you've got to play like. If you want to win things, you've got to make sure that you perform for the 90 minutes and make it difficult for teams. And Man City, without doubt, are a quality side. But they were disappointed, I think, a lot of them, with the way that things went in that first half.
Yeah, it's that thing, isn't it? That, it's hard to recover against any team, really, if you give them a 2-goal head start. But a team of Manchester City's quality was always going to be an uphill struggle to repeat the feat they had last year. And, of course, City were down to 10 last year.
Yeah, but look, you just look at what their game plan was in that first half. Pressing the ball high up the field, winning it back, not letting Wolves get out. And it worked in the first half. Say it could have been more. Say Chicio's save to stop it from going up 3-0 up in that first half. And it just shows you the quality that you've got to do. You've got to be on it every game in this Premier League. Second half, they come out, battled a little bit better, created a few opportunities. Could probably have done better with the chances they had. Got themselves that goal back with Jimenez, but it wasn't to be. They just couldn't get that equaliser. And then they got that Jesus at the end there with that third goal for Man City.
Well, we will take a very quick break and then we'll get the thoughts from Matt Murray and Chris Iwelumo on Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group.
This season, the Old Gold Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
So let's get you some reaction then to the defeat here tonight at Molineux. Andy Thompson is still alongside me, and as you can see, rejoining us for their thoughts are Chris Iwelumo and Matt Murray as well. Wolves at least gave it a go second half. Their looms just wasn't quite enough in the end.
Yeah, disappointing. Did create some chances. Some on another day, you'd find them in the back of the net. Obviously the Jimenez goal. gives you that little kind of bit of hope that you can go and get something out of the match. And to be fair, you're throwing everything at it, and the likes of Man City, the quality they've got, they got that third goal that kind of finished it off. There was some little bits of quality. I thought Neto, you seen the pace that he got for the one that he's cut back for Podence, and you're thinking, just take the shot on yourself. He must have got a shout there, Matty, for him to leave it for Neves, and I'm just thinking he's actually in probably the more favourable position there to either take a touch. You can go first time or take a touch. But like you say, there was some creative quality that wasn't there in the first half, which, like you say, it was a reaction. But you got to start like that. It was something that we spoke about all season, last season, about second half coming on stronger. We have to learn from that. We have to make sure, like Sheffield United, we start very well. Don't give the opposition respect, but not nowhere near as much respect as we gave City tonight.
I mentioned before, Matt Murray, that I think it was 21 out of 38 games last year in the Premier League. Wolves conceded the first goal. They had a better record than anybody else in the division for coming back and winning points from losing positions. But you can't give a team like Man City a 2-goal head start.
Yeah, and I think it's more the manner of it as well. Like Looms has said, I think the Wolves boys will probably look at it and think, well, we got really close to them in the second half and we made a real game of it, had some fantastic opportunities. So why did we start how we did? Nuno will be reflecting and looking at it. So a lot of positives to take from the second half, but that would be the biggest thing for me. Why, we're such a good team. I think Pep Guardiola had described the Wolves team as quite experienced now. This is the third year in the Premier League. There's a lot of players there who've played a lot of international football as well. They've played in the Europa League now. So this is quite a lot of experienced players here. And for whatever reason, couldn't get close to Manchester City. Then it was an uphill task. I just was gutted that one of those chances didn't go in earlier. It really was, because the Podence had 3 fantastic chances. The one where he swiveled and shot just wide was really difficult. Whereas, like Loom says, I'm not sure why he didn't take on the second one. Although, look, it's Ruben Neves coming onto it. But still, with Podence, touch, finish, bang. He'd have been closer. It would have been an easier finish. Then a little dink. The Raul Jimenez one pulled across, pulled back to him. You'd usually put your house on him to score that as well. But when Wolves got that goal, he thought the momentum come in. So the loads of positives to take in the second half. But I'd just like to see Wolves go at it. And then you have to go to the bench if we needed fresh legs, fresh energy. But in the end, against a quality side, it was too much. We gave ourselves too much to do.
Like, we're all disappointed about the results, but like Matty says there is a lot of positives to take from the game, and it's on to the next. Disappointing. You got the double over Man City last season. That's not the case, but you have to just you learn from your mistakes. No matter who you're up against. I think Wolves have got that experience. They've got that. They've matured well. They're a group of players that know each other inside and out, and they've just got to make sure that they start with that intensity. Especially with no fans here. Don't use that as an excuse. Make sure that the players take it on board, that they themselves can create that intensity like they have done in a lot of the previous games, even after restart.
Yeah, you're just looking at that as well. So look, the way that they come out the second half, had a little bit of a go at Man City. At least they created those opportunities, because it was dead in bed. It could have been more. Patricio, we just spoke about the save that he did in the first half. That would have made it 3-0 if they'd got it. Great save. And they just can't afford, against the good teams in this league, to give them that 2-goal start for me. So look, you've got to get into it. You've got to start making sure we pick up the pace of it. Look after the ball a little bit better in that first half was the thing. It kept getting it straight back to Man City. But again, second half, come out at opportunities. Totally agree with you. The Podence opportunity, I think he should have shot it. Said that to Mikey on comms. So look, these things happen, but at least they got something out of the game. You spoke about them winning the second half. At least they come out there. I'll say they've drawn the game in the second half, but at least they showed a little bit of spirit from the difference in that first half.
I think Nuno has to take credit for that. Obviously, the players on the pitch, but Nuno's obviously looked at it, probably got his analysts down, everything else, and thought, right, we need to get closer to them. They weren't silly gung-ho. I still felt that I thought that Patricio made a really good save down low to the right. Nothing he could do with a deflected effort, and there's little bits of fortune in that. But I thought we broke the lines better, but it's still showing me that the fact that Jota's gone, we need Semedo in, because I think it would have been nicer to have Traore as an option in there in the middle. Fabio Silva, look, end of the day, he's a young man, but when you pay 35 million again, you want to be able to introduce him early and see what he can do. So it's showing me that we still need a little bit more. That's why Nuno knows that his team is evolving. It's that change that we're talking about that happens, and it will take a little bit of time. Hopefully Marcel's injury is not too serious, but like all the guys have said, Mikey, there were positives in that second half, but we just got the learning, the big learning from this is, especially against the top 4 sides, got to start quicker.
And it's that situation, isn't it? Like you boys were mentioning earlier, that look, it's early in the season and they haven't had a pre-season and they haven't had a huge amount of time because they had the 2 games last week to actually work on some of these things. So if they are trying to do something a little bit different and not necessarily the same as they've always been, do we have to be a little bit patient and allow them that time to go through? Because they're not going to face a team that will punish them like Man City every week.
No, it's the Premier League, Mikey. It's the most competitive league in the world. You know, I understand that you implement new things and trying to evolve, but I don't think anyone, even Nuno, will accept a backward step in that process. You know, it always has to be a progression. It's always, can we get more points? Can we finish higher than what we did the season before? I don't think, even though that we're evolving, new players are coming with potential that he's going to be coaching and making better the experienced players there. I don't think there's room for any sideway movement or back step. So it's all about progression all the time, season in, season out, even though we're evolving for sure.
It is, but I do get sort of what you're saying, Mike, as well, though, in the way that if you heard Frank Lampard talking about his Chelsea team, you know, some big signings, Werner, Havertz, you know, coming in, that he wants a little bit more time, because it wasn't only is it a really small pre-season, they were all away on international duty.
Yeah.
So that's even harder. Then what you've got is you've got a young man in Fabio Silva, you've got Marcel, people like this. They're not only, yes, there are Portuguese people here that are going to help them, but they are still moving to a new country, a new way of life, a new league, everything else.
A crazy time in the world. It's not, as if, you know, you can turn up and go out and go house shopping, all sorts.
So all these things. So look, Nuno never ever, you always hear him, he's never happy with what he's done, like Looms is saying. He's always about forward. And lots of managers could go, you know, he could have signed his contract ages ago and gone, do you know what? I've done this, I've done that. No, he wanted to see that he was going to get backed. He wanted to see that he could take this team forward again. He's been backed. He's signed the 3-year deal. So he'll be hurting from this. All those players in there will be hurting from this. But the run of games that Wolves have got, with West Ham next, we've got Leeds, Palace, people like that coming up, teams like that coming up, which are Newcastle, I think. So there's a good run of games now. I don't know if you got the list of games there, Mikey?
Basically, it's West Ham next Sunday, then Fulham at home, Leeds away, Newcastle home, Crystal Palace at home, and that takes you into November, where it's Leicester away, Southampton at home, before a double of Arsenal, Liverpool, and then Villa off the back of that. So, and that's what I kind of mean about, you know, you take Man City and Liverpool, they're obviously at that top level. And then, as Matty rightly says, you've got teams like Chelsea, maybe Arsenal, Spurs, maybe you include Wolves in it, who are trying to push to that next kind of group.
You don't say maybe there, Mikey. You have to include Wolves in that. That's exactly where they are.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the next 6 games, those are, they're not must-win games, but they are very winnable games, and there's a lot of pressure on Wolves going into every single one of them as favourites to win those matches. So there's no maybe about it. That's where Wolves are. That's where we are. That's where we want to be, and we want to be looking up and trying to close whatever gap it is between that big 4, big 6, whatever you want to say. But you look at, what is it? West Ham. Yeah, we went and done that after the restart. An excellent performance. Fulham have just came up. They're finding it very hard. It's a must-win. You know, these are the games that you have to win. And okay, if you can nick points off the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Man United, whatever, Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever you want to call the big 6, then that's a bonus. But that's where we are. There's no maybe about it, Mikey.
Yeah. Look, we're all disappointed. We're all disappointed about the way they play. But you're not going to come up against Man City every week, are you? And that's the thing. The quality that they've got, De Bruyne was instrumental to everything that they did this evening. And the quality that they've got in possession and out of possession, it just shows you the level that you've got to try and get to and what you've got to do. If you're going to push up and contend with that top places in the division. That's what the standards are. And look, there's no reason why we can't. There's no reason why this Wolves side can't be pushing to even get higher than we did last year.
So last couple of minutes then, Matt Murray looking ahead to West Ham next weekend. Would you make changes? And if so, what would you do to mix it up?
Well, I think you need to see how Marcel's injury is. Have a look at the guys. If Semedo is in and done, and I'm sure he said he's near enough done, isn't it, Mikey? So
I have no information whatsoever.
No.
Do you think they would tell me anything?
He knows more than he's letting on, I'm telling you.
Those are all, mate.
I'm the last to know.
No, but look, if you listen to the reports that have been going around from the media haven't been far wrong. So if Semedo's in, I think we need that. I need him through the door. You've got to look at West Ham, who put in a very good performance against Arsenal. I'm sure it was Arsenal, was it? Arsenal, 2-1.
Yeah.
So they put in a good performance there. So you don't know which West Ham will turn up. The one against Newcastle, the one against Arsenal, but Wolves are going to be right up here. Like Looms and Thomas said, the Premier League is tough. Got to get back at it, play like we did in the second half. And if we start like we did against Sheffield United, get close to players, we'll keep getting into our rhythm. And what would be nice, it's it's a whole week, and that will be again that Nuno will find very important, that he's got his players together. So I'm expecting a real response, a reaction, if you like. But what I'm loving is that this is Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League, and this shows how far we've come, that we're disappointed out, with our first half performance against Manchester City. Do you know what I mean? We're going in expecting to really play in the first half like we did in the second, and that is the expectation levels that Nuno, these owners, and everyone has brought.
Well, it's a lovely way to finish. As I really appreciate your time. Lovely to see you, Matty. Great to have you joining us.
Always love to see you, Mikey.
Chris Iwelumo, as ever, and Andy Thompson, of course. We will be back next Sunday. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do for a week, to be honest with you.
You'll find
see me, Mikey.
You'll find something, mate. Data or stats or something, mate. Just
yeah. I'm that sad that I'll be sat in at home preparing the 20-page stat pack that apparently, according to Sky Sports, Matt Murray is not enough to get him prepared for this game at all. Boys, loved it as ever. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite the result we wanted, but I appreciate your time and good to see you all. Thank you all for joining us as well. I should say thanks to Tim Spears and Colin Cameron for joining us as well. So 2 games in to the Premier League season, 1 win, 1 defeat, some very different performances. Hopefully, though, Wolves are going in the right direction. We'll see you next Sunday. In the meantime, we're going to be played out once again by the guys from the Wolfpack Howlers as they prepare to release their first album.
'Cause Nuno had a dream to build a football team with Chinese owners and a one-leg kid from Porto, with 5 at the back and pace in attack. We're Wolverhampton, we're on our way back. 'Cause Nuno had a dream to build a football team with Chinese owners and a wonder kid from Porto, with 5 at the back, a pace in attack. We're Wolverhampton, we're on our way back. 'Cause Nuno had a dream to build a football team with Chinese owners and a wonder kid from Porto, with 5 at the back, a pace in attack.